got a good like 2.5 hours in me, so I'm all good.
Yeah, okay, you're same time zone as us. I can remember.
Yeah, I'm in Eastern, and my throat is in a much better position than it was like a week or 3 ago. So I should probably still sound like this throughout the recording. You probably don't have to hear me like disintegrating.
Yeah,
Hey, drink some water if you can.
I got water, and I've got Coca-Cola Zero here next to me.
Epic.
I don't know if I like that better or less than redacted. Those are both like great joke names.
I got zero sugar Coca-Cola.
That just sounds
Whole
like
mouthfuls of it.
the single hole that's on birds.
Yeah, I squeezed out a whole bunch of fresh Coca-Cola onto one big ice cube.
And then
Excellent.
you
It's zero sugar. It's ethical.
zero sugar. Completely ethical.
So how have you been this past week?
I'm doing better because I got hella sick in mid-October and massive like expectorating cough for like a week and a half straight. Just goop shooting out everywhere, and then all that coughing obliterated my vocal cords. So I sounded like hell. I have a video up, a review of Studio Series Brawn, where you can hear my voice after a week of healing, and it sounds bad. So I'm doing better now.
Yeah, okay, that's why I knew there was something wrong with your voice. I remember you said you were feeling a little better, and I was like, yeah, I knew you were. Wait, how did I know that?
Yeah. I've been whining about it a lot because it basically means like the worst part for me on was I haven't been able to stream at all. It's like I got all this stuff to do, but a lot of it involves talking at length, and I couldn't.
Yeah, that does remind me though. Weirdly enough, Cody might not be here tonight because he's been stuck in crazy traffic all afternoon. So like, don't think we got rid of him or anything. He's just having stupid car trouble.
He's in a video game.
I wish. You'd probably like that.
He's currently in GTA 6, and that's why it's delayed. He's actually the delay that everything is experiencing right now. It's totally not unique.
He's in the union busted build of GTA 6 where nothing happens.
Yeah, part of the layoff. That's.
I was at a thing last night, and I had to explain that to two different people. Fun.
Oh, the union bus and shit?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Twice I heard people start to go like, oh, and GTA 6 got delayed. And I both times like had the frickin' video game dialogue options appear from me, and I was like, do I be the guy? Yeah, alright. Well, you know why that's happening, don't you?
And also the game, the inevitable video game crash. Man, can we just get the video game crash over with? Can we just,
Here's the thing, I think
No,
it already
it's cooking.
has.
We're ripening it still. It's almost done.
Sure, buddy.
I mean, Starfield happened.
Yeah, Starfield, like, that was a blip on everybody's radar. It was a wet fart of a game release.
Much like pork, you got to slow cook it to slowly sweat out the fats and flavors.
I think it's just harder to notice the crash happening because indie and AA games are like really coming into their own, and people are just going like,
yeah,
I'll play these.
Yeah, I guess it's also. I also just think like I'm not sure how this has any basis in reality, but like the reason nobody is like noticing the recessions or crashes is just because just willful ignorance or some shit.
No,
like
we've been in one
just like people have other shit to worry about right now.
True.
It's
probably a whole mix of all those reasons.
Culturally, also, it's kind of it's this. We're in an interesting period. I saw this put in a really cool way. I say cool, like it's kind of spooky too, but this interesting way, which is that like we're now in a position in our first world culture over here, at least, where like escapism is harder because you can't escape from capital I it anymore because it's everywhere. Your hobby spaces are being affected, right? Like your favorite streamers are being affected, your shows are being affected. So like the old version of escapism, I would posit is maybe turning into, for some folks, what you just mentioned, like people who are just kind of like engaging in a heavy blinder because it's like it's everywhere. Like the joke, right, is there are some toy forums that are like, we don't allow politics talk here, so nobody can talk about the tariffs. And it's like, okay, but like everything people purchase in relation to this hobby is being affected by a mysterious force So I guess just don't talk about it.
You almost if you really want to avoid it, you almost have to just like exclusively look at shit from like a decade ago or older.
And even then, it also has like just the context. There's still like shit happened or that affected that thing, like 9/11 or whatever. It's like, you know what I mean? It's just
But the past is easier to deal with than the present.
I guess.
Mm.
I've kind of been in like a kill the past mindset recently. I don't know why.
It's an adjustment, I think, that of just like how do I put it? It's not. It kind of is an adjustment of what one defines escapism as, but I would also say it's an adjustment of like how do we cope with the riddle of existence to kind of widen the scope a little bit. And it's like I've always been a believer the if one were to say what's the meaning of life, I'm always like, oh, it's the pursuit of personal happiness, really. So you know, I go on a lot about in toy collecting, like how do you maintain your personal happiness, and you know, how do you stay liquid and keep adjusting just to make sure that you're servicing yourself first. And in hobby spaces, I think that can apply in a very broad strokes way.
I mean, that's what Camus proposed with the Sisyphus. It's just life is a continuous struggle, and fundamentally, there is no meaning. So the only meaning there is what we impart upon it, and to be true and authentic to that, and understand that it has no more meaning than anything else, but it gives you value.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you are the filter through which you perceive the world, right? So you want to do what you can to make your filter happy and work as best as you can.
A quote I've always thought that's along those lines is, if nothing we do matters, all that matters is what we do.
I mean, I was going to mention, like, you were talking about, like, hobby politics invading hobby. Boy, have I been dealing with that recently. Oh, ooh.
Which brings us right up to the top of the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Modular Components. This is a podcast where people talk about stuff that's on their minds, and sometimes there are other not regularly here people to contribute to that conversation. We're doing one of those tonight. Hi, everybody. I'm Simeon Scott, and I'm joined by Boingo Ryder.
Hello.
Buster Corp.
Hello.
And returning for the first time in about 2 years, I want to say. Vangelus is here, everybody.
What's up? Now I'm dark woke. Sorry, I was just on a stream a little earlier. My brain's a little bit like live streamy. I'm readjusting.
It's good. I like the energy.
I'm kind of like if the Joker and Sephiroth were crossed together. I'm unpredictable and change your life.
That just reminded me real quick. I just want to mention, we can get back to it later on. 9 Kills made a Joker song.
I saw it. It ruled.
It's a good song.
Yeah, it's a good music video too. It's awesome.
Wait, hold on. Sim, Nine Kills is a metal band, but all their songs are based around like horror movies.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just someone was just like, you know what I want to make a song about today? The Joker.
Well, I mean, they have one about the Joker. They did one about Art the Clown. And Art's in the music video.
Yeah, it's the music. I have no idea how the music video got on YouTube, but
that actor seems like he's having a good time.
Yeah, with Terrifier, I think the actor carries it because, from what I heard about the director, he's kind of,
Terrifier director gives me funny vibes. I tried
because I feel like it's super prevalent, but all I ever see is images of art. I don't know anything else about those movies.
That's because most of the images are not safe for work. I'll tell you that.
And I would also agree that actor really is shouldering a lot of not just those movies, but also the fandom around them. Because I've only seen a bit of Terrifier 1, and I don't think it's like, I'm not trying to hot take this or anything. It's just my taste. I got kind of bored during Fire 1.
Boring. It's like unless there's like gore happening, it's pretty boring.
Yeah, it was like it was sort of cute, right? It was real indie cute, but I was like. So I read up a little bit. I haven't watched past. I know that Terrifier 2 is the one everyone says, "Oh, you wait till Terrifier 2." And I'm like, I get it, but I also agree. I read some interviews. It seems like everyone working on those movies, they're having a good time, but also they're all like, the director's weird, and the director will walk in the room and go like, "What's up? I'm weird." It's like, all right, this energy's. I get this. I don't know if I have the patience for this energy today. Whenever I read,
honestly, at this point, I probably wouldn't have watched it. I just watched it because my friends were just like in a big Terrifier phase, and I wanted to join them.
Are we talking like he's Tommy Wiseau weird?
I get it.
Or he's Pat Lee weird?
Pat Lee, I'd say.
Okay.
He's like if I could get how do I put this? Tom Six, the director of the Human Centipede movies, who I find irritating beyond reproach. It's like a less irritating Tom Six, but like I don't know that that's a compliment. It's just like I could probably have a conversation with this dude, but I think I'd be exhausted. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It seems like the kind of person who just watches horror movies not for any actual thematic element, but just to watch the effects.
Which is weird because I kind of find that the big strength of Fire too, but that's beside it's just like I have a
But that dude who plays art, that guy's
David.
That guy's doing work. Like he's
David Thornton, not David Thornton. I forgot his name, but like something David. But like he's good. Yeah, apparently he got mentored by the Robbie Rotten guy. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, that rules. Yeah, he's the highlight of in Terrifier 1. There's a great shot in the first chunk of the movie where he like pops up from behind a pizza counter on like an otherwise like dark room, and he's got this great body language, this great look in his eyes. Like he carries the first chunk of that film because he's doing this like kind of really interesting mute performance with a lot of really strong body language, and like I that drew me in. And then he's not on screen for periods of time, and I'm like, oh wow, I'm noticing when he's not here.
It's a whole thing. Yeah. We don't have to talk about it anymore.
I certainly hope he shows up in something I actually want to watch, so I get to experience him as an actor.
Sadly, it seems like he's been doing like the last thing I saw him in was like one of those public domain slashers. So it's like he might be stuck in the horror bubble. So it is what it is.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
it is what
anyway,
it is.
It's been a while since we've had you on the podcast, Vangelus. So what's been happening with you in the last little while? What's new in the world of internet personality?
Oh, so much existential horror, but I leave that out. I'm
other than that, Mrs.
I'm kind of just yeah, my husband like fell over, and I don't know what happened to him. Dude, lazy ass. It's not. Yeah, I've been kind of just trundling along. I'm still enjoying my hobbies. I'm still having a good time with toys in my way, even though like depending on how things are going, I'm dialing back or leaning in too hard. Still doing a lot of my usual things. I kind of have picked up card gaming again recently because there's some really fun local communities. I've been getting into Flesh and Blood quite a lot. Ooh, I've been playing a couple Bandai games on the side. Gundam, I was able to get singles to make a deck, which is a huge milestone for those who have been trying. And I was also getting back into the Digimon card game on the back of them making new Belphemon cards. Never watched. I don't actually know much about Digimon. I just think the card game runs neat, and a friend of mine gave me some cards way back. So I was running the new Belphemon X antibody deck because I'm trying to. I was like, "Where's the promo Fascamon that fits into this deck really well?" And then my friend was like, "Oh, that's in a participation pack." So I was like, "Oh, I have to participate then." All right. So I went to play the current Belphemon deck as best as I could build it. I really like it. You have to keep track of like 3 to 4 separate channels in your discard pile actively while playing. So it is a massive mental load, but in a way that I find very fun. And it's a goofy good time. I built Belphemon way back because it was just at the time it was a fun budget deck and it had cool aesthetics. And then as a personal in-joke, I went to look up a clip of Belphemon to try to get more in touch with the media and immediately found a muscle growth fetish YouTube channel, and that's where all the Belphemon clips were. And I was like, huh. All right.
I mean, Digimon fans are freaks, so...
And Belphemon does muscle growth a lot. I didn't know that the dude Akihiro's face comes out of his chest, and I was like, well, that's kind of cool.
It is what it is.
All the Digimon Demon Lords are kind of freaky in a way.
That's what I was told, is I would enjoy Demon Lord stuff. I'm happy. I have a Belphemon deck, and I have a blue-green Imperial Dramon deck that I've only played a little bit. They're like my 2 decks that I have for that game. And yeah, that's kind of lately, especially since the summer, I've been very deep in on card gaming. Flesh and Blood has taken over a lot of my cortex.
Yeah. I kind of feel bad because the only card game I can really get into is Yu-Gi-Oh, and that's really like a specific deck of Yu-Gi-Oh, like the Decode Talkers.
I heard Konami, the huge earth-shaking announcement. Konami themselves are recognizing a second format
Yeah, I
and
saw,
it was,
and it doesn't have my links. It doesn't have my links, and I'm salty about that. Links were the only way I
uh,
played. It is what it is. But it's like I still like playing
it's
the
an
base format.
interesting. It sounded interesting because it's one where they're weighting power cards with point values, so they're adding like a point value build element to it, and I was like, that's neat. That's
Yeah,
I've seen that
Yeah.
idea
Could be
floated for other
fun.
games.
But
Like,
it seems like an interesting way to do balance, and it's like, okay, you can play with the broken stuff, but you can only play with the broken stuff. The rest of your shit is gonna be, you're gonna have to be good with it.
Yeah, I just like I have like
In-
emotional. You go.
I was gonna say, in a world where they are also still going like, we will never rotate anything. It's like, well, this is an interesting way to like accommodate both sides of that, I guess.
Yeah, I just have like an emotional attachment to the cards I play because of like both the anime and just like the time I got into the card games. So it's like I don't want to change my card.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't want to change.
Card games are one
There's
of
I think they're doing full arts now.
Oh yeah, full ones. Yeah, they look sick. You were saying something?
Yeah, I was just gonna put in card games are one of those things I've just never been really able to get into because I guess my brain is just not formatted right for all the stuff you have to know and keep in your brain as you're playing them. I have had several like phases of briefly collecting Pokemon just because like, ooh, the pretty pictures of the funny creatures I like. But I haven't had one of those in a long while because it's kind of not a good idea to be an adult who gets into Pokemon right now.
Well, like you can't because it's all been bought. So you that's
Yeah,
that's
it's
a little bit of an overstatement, I guess. But
It's
that's
like
true.
either it's all been bought, or you walk into the store and they go like, "Oh, look at this fucking 20-something guy with a beard. He's probably gonna buy it all. And the kids aren't gonna get any." And it's like,
You just
I don't want to be associated.
you just gotta
with
put
that.
you gotta put badges. You gotta put the badges all over your collar and go like, no, listen, I'm buying these because I'm heading to a tournament tomorrow. I'm an athlete. All right. I don't collect
I
these
walk
just
into the Walmart and I
place.
drop
I'm a
my
gamer.
weights.
Yeah. Like I'm not here to resell. I use.
It's
Oh,
card games are wacky. They're like fun. I like the basic, but even like my FGC, the fighting game community I go to, basically has people just play card games.
That's legit. Flesh and Blood is very much an FGC style fighting game that is masquerading as a card game in several ways. It's really interesting.
I will look that up right now.
Yeah, it's because it's mostly like it's only one being you're controlling, and you like add shit to it, right?
Yeah, your every deck is a deck is you pick one of the characters from the roster and then you build a deck around them. And the crux of the game's mechanics are around the combat engine, which is like, I'm sending an attack your way, so we open a link on the combat chain. My attack comes in. What are your blocks? All right, now I have attack reactions. Now you have defense reactions. And we pass that priority back and forth until the link closes because we both passed priority. So there's a lot of just, it's not like, I guess it's easy to summarize as kind of a fighting game turned card game, but it has a lot of that kind of stuff where it's like, instead of like I'm trying to, like, I want to build my resources and like amass a bunch of creatures, it's like my main is Dorinthia right now, who is she has a magic sword, and her whole thing is she comes in trying to poke you with it twice with a handful of cards that might be attack reactions or they might not be, but you don't know that. You have to play around all the different things I could have in my hand that I could be doing. Am I feinting at you with like one attack that I'm trying to make you think that you don't have to block, and then I'm just going to hit you really hard once? Or am I planning to hit you twice to build the power on the sword? I don't know. It's very fun for me.
It definitely sounds like a kind of card game where you have to do a lot more reading of your opponent. You know, because sometimes you can just react to what's on the field, but like that feels like you have to get into your opponent's mind and be like, okay, how are they playing and how can I react to that?
One of my favorite parts of it as a game is that you actively have to be paying attention and doing things on the other player's turn. So you simply cannot check out in that game. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, you gotta always be locked in.
I have a fascination with trading card games, but I also live in the middle of nowhere, so I don't have anybody to play with.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love the
I can
it's dead around here.
I can list you I can list to anyone like a bunch of digital ways to play games, but like especially something like Flesh and Blood, like it has a robust unofficial digital client, but like especially with like someone like Dorothea, there's an energy that I also really enjoy. Like I am fainting at you here in person with this hand, and like it's called Flesh and Blood partly because the creator is like, yeah, I want this game to be played by people in the flesh and blood, and there's moments that translate better in person where it's like, I attack you. How many of your 4 cards are you going to block with less than how many cards you have going into your turn? And if someone looks you in the eye and says, oh, I'm not blocking anything, I'll just take the hit. Then you also have this, you have to sit there going like, oh, that means you want to play all 4 of those cards. Oh no.
You have a plan in mind.
You have a scary turn in mind. I like this. And it's an energy that really lives in the flesh and blood side of playing, where it's like you can look the opponent. Yeah, I block for 0, and your opponent goes like, "Oh, okay. Guess I'll brace."
That also just feels like it really resembles like you're watching a fantasy movie and someone just catches a sword. And it's like, oh, you're gonna wallop me now.
Oh yeah, I mean it's literally I'm thrusting at you with my sword. Oh, you just let it enter your shoulder because you're confident that whatever you're about to do is worth having a sword stab you in the shoulder. I don't like this.
What's the resource? Is there a resource system in that game?
Yeah, so some cards have cost, and what it is that there are 3 colors of cards, and when you pay for things, you pay by pitching out of your hand. So not discarding into a graveyard, but instead pitching into a pile that you then can organize and put on the bottom of your deck at the end of your turn. So there's even a whole element of pitch stacking where you when you're in the higher level of Flesh and Blood, you're not only pitching to pay for your cards, but you're pitching with the idea that those cards you're pitching will be your second cycle of your deck. And you might be like, yeah, I'm actively trying to pitch specific cards to draw into in about 20 minutes.
Because you can like organize them in a certain way and just put them on the bottom.
Yeah. And if you remember what you pitched, if you remember what you pitched the turn before, even if it's just remembering the colors, that's already, and that's something I'm trying to learn, is like that's already an advanced thing of like, oh, I know I pitched a blue last time, so this time I'm going to pitch like 2 reds because I would like those 2 reds to go with that blue into whatever hand that is that I'll draw. And like there's a whole style of Flesh and Blood, which is your deck built to fatigue, which is where you just try to make it so you have cards beyond the point where your opponent runs out of cards. Because there's no rule in the game where you lose when you out. It's just when you have no more deck, you simply play with what you have. And if you can't do anything, you sit there and just get punched in the face over and over again. Because you ran out of resources that be your cards.
That's really cool. Especially because it's like a lot of bluffing and everything, so you're counting cards, and that's cool. That's fucking cool.
Oh yeah, and it's a best of 1 game too on the world level. So like you're like if you're doing Classic Constructed, which is like kind of the main format, when you play the game in that format, it's a minimum 60 card deck. But the actual deck construction rules are you have 1 hero, 1 weapon, and 80 cards, and that includes equipment because you have 4 equipment slots. So of those 80 cards, you need to have a 60 card, but those are 20 cards. Usually 4 of them are your equipment. So that leaves you with 15 cards that are kind of a sideboard, but they could be deck cards or equipment cards. And equipment is what you start with at the start of the game. So for instance, my Dorinthia deck, I was just playing 2 local ProQuest tournaments last month. And I started moving towards having a 54 card deck and then like 2 sets of 6 cards depending on my matchup, along with another 9 cards that were more like wider sideboard type things. So when you start a matchup in Flesh and Blood, all you know is the character that your opponent is playing. So you're like, oh, I'm playing against this character, so I'm going to side in my defense package, or I'm going to side in my aggro race package to try to like outdamage them. And it's really fun. The equipment is also a whole thing. You start here, but equipment are basically consumables. So a big part of Flesh and Blood is you start with a full set of armor. That's also where the most expensive cards in the game are, is the equipment. And using equipment means usually a 1 or 2 shot effect, and then the equipment gets blown off of you. Like one of the most expensive headpieces in the game, the Crown of Providence, it can defend for 2 once. And when you do, you can discard a card from hand and draw a new one. Or not discard, take a card from your hand, put it on the bottom of the deck, and draw a new one. That effect is in fact so powerful that card is very expensive. But the game is so tight and so like granular that at a glance you'd wonder why, like top level super expensive cards in this game have an effect of in a 40 life format. Oh, it defends for 2 once, and it lets you sink a card and draw a new one when it does. And that happens once, and then it blows up. But the more I played it, the more I was like, oh, these kind of rules that like, as opposed to a game where it's like, oh, the $150 card lets you, board wipe twice and take your opponent and eat it or something. And then in this game, it's like, this card lets you draw 2 cards on your own turn. And it's like, oh, that's actually wildly powerful in this game.
I'm so glad trading card games are trying a lot more interesting things. Like there's one that's like on Kickstarter right now that's like the best way to describe it is it's like Brutal Legend where you play as a dude and you move around but you can summon other dudes, and it has like a grid that you play on.
Oh, there's a lot of them doing that now. Like kind of yeah, you move around on a board and some like that's the Riftbound. I heard it's good, but the League of Legends game that just launched is 3 fields
League of Legends.
and a home camp. Yeah.
Why would you want to put yourself through that?
Well, I watched Arcane. I thought Arcane was okay. There's an Arcane guy on one of the starts. I don't know who most of the rest of the other cards are.
Arcane's alright. Season 2 is just kind of like, yeah, it's pretty, but it's, I don't know, the storytelling kind of dropped off, especially in season. I thought even season 1 storytelling was a bit like a hit and miss, but it's like season 2 really just I wouldn't say dropped the ball, just didn't really like take any of the good parts and expanded on it, except for there's this one episode. It was like in the final batch, I think it was like episode 7, where it was like a flashback, reality flashback, whatever. And I thought that one episode was pretty, like, just as its own little episode was really good. But that's like,
oh yeah.
That was like the only part of Arcane I still remember. The rest is like kind of flows, kind of turns to much for me. I don't know. That's you though.
Oh yeah, I'm kind of there with you. Like Arcane's gorgeous. It's just like both seasons, I felt like they didn't know they wanted to do too much and then just tried to do it anyway.
Yeah.
So like both seasons of Arcane to me, I like them enough, but they both very much felt like, the movie version of a 52 episode anime, that kind of thing, where I'm like, I feel like a longer version that I could be watching. Yeah.
I don't know. Just something about the pacing, just like the right story. I don't know. Maybe it's just the league poison around it, but it's like I don't know. Something just it didn't 100% click as much as everyone else did. I wasn't overhealed.
Yeah, their game is apparently it's pretty good, but also someone told me yesterday at Flesh and Blood Armory at one of the local places. He was like, hey, "Did you know that they had to errata 35 cards on day 1?" I was like, "Oh, that's a bummer." You don't want erratas in paper card games if you can avoid it.
Yeah.
There was like another game that came out like last year, I think, where you don't fight, you are just racing, exploring, and like the whole mechanic is you're just trying to get through the wilderness as far as you can to beat your opponent.
Is that Altered?
I think so. It has like a QR code on the front, and that's why I will never play it, because that's ugly as fuck and I hate it.
That's Altered.
Yeah.
I was looking into that because I liked the gimmick of we're gonna do the Keyforge thing for single cards, where it's like we have mechanically unique cards that are, we have an algorithm to generate them like Keyforge had for its decks. But yeah, apparently the digital integration seemed a little slipshod, and unfortunately, and I hate this because this is not what I want for any game that has people who are enjoying it. Altered is now a bad version of the Keyforge state where they're trying to crowdfund new waves. So that means when you're crowdfunding new waves, it means you are not creating new players. And Keyforge is every pack is a deck. So at the end of the day, Keyforge can always survive because if you want to play it, you buy one Keyforge pack. Now you have a deck, basically. But anything else, it's like you're not growing new players now. Now you're crowdfunding whoever is playing, and it doesn't bode well in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a lot of neat concepts. I think the Disney game kind of anybody who was looking for a non-violent trading card game was like, oh, Disney's there,
Yeah, I mean that you can have characters punch each other in the Disney game. That is a mechanic. Also, all the characters in Lorcana are Inkwell homunculi copies of existing characters. There's a lot of like weird body horror in Lorcana. Yeah, like there's lore to what Lorcana is, and part of it is you, the player, are like a lore master or whatever. And when you summon characters, you are generating lore-driven copies of them from your Inkwell. And like summoning sickness in Lorcana is that they need a turn to dry off because the ink is wet. So there's like a lot of moisture in Lorcana. And like
you want Mickey Mouse but moist.
If you summon like Rapunzel, you can't attack with her on turn 1 because she is dripping, sopping wet, and she has to dry off first. Also, not like
changes
even further
Ariel,
into
though.
the
If you summon Ariel,
even further into the
she's so wet.
Ariel has to dry off too, which is messed up because she's a mermaid. Like, why does she have to? But like, there's
That's real
interesting
fucked up
lore
evil.
in that game. They had like a PvE, like a player versus enemy co-op set that came out, which is like you're summoning these homunculi of existing Disney characters, and some of them are also villains. So like one of the Ursulas that summoned just became too self-aware and and some of the villain homunculi are just like, what if I just take over everything? So like it's happened with an Ursula and a Jafar now, where they just went like, what if I just start learning how the ink works? And so like the Ursula enemy deck has like all these Disney characters cards that already exist, but the art is drawn differently so that they have like shadow tentacles wreathed through their bodies and their eyes have gone like pure white and they look like analog horror versions of themselves because they're like, they've been corrupted by ink Ursula. So there's interesting stuff going on in the Lorcana lore, which is good because I guess that's its name. But yeah, it is for the Disney game. If you think about it in certain angles, like it's a visceral game in some ways.
If I had a nickel for every time a Disney product involved fake versions of Disney villains gaining sentience and trying to become the real villains, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's happened twice. There was a book series I read as a kid called The Kingdom Keepers, where basically a bunch of kids are turned into holograms at the Disney parks to fight the animatronics that come to life at night.
What is up with Disney and doing all this analog stuff? Like also like
they're trying to appeal to the youth.
And that's kind of cool, but listen, I'm always down for some body horror.
I mean, hey, like Epic Mickey also falls into that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
it's full of ink too. It's what?
Yeah.
I mean, if we want to talk about like Disney getting into some insane body horror shit, they could really go places with Mr. Fantastic, and they just haven't yet.
Maybe Doomsday, and I'm not even gonna.
Oh my
when is Pedro Pascal?
Pretzel?
When is Pedro Pascal going to extend his eyeball as if it was a telescope?
Yeah, that's some peak Mr. Fantastic paneling.
Hell yeah!
Did
you hear they got actors in Doomsday?
Right
They got actors in Doomsday.
Oh,
they got actors.
I couldn't resist. Sorry, when Doomsday comes up, I do the rote joke, but now I'm a little behind on comics. I read the first 12 issues of Skybound Transformers because I picked up the paperback trades while visiting my mom a couple times, and I was having fun with it. So I've been meaning to catch up on that, possibly just cheating and doing it non-analog, but with the intent to purchase analog copies eventually. But I am a little bit behind on that stuff. I've also been meaning to go to. I want to pick up do a power bomb because a couple folks were telling me that's my kind of thing.
It is so good.
It's so good. Yeah, we've all read it.
I've been around Delta Trion too much, and Delta Trion is a big Daniel Warren Johnson fan, and it's just freaking just spraying all that all over me. I'm like, I guess.
Buddy, you've come to the wrong podcast if you want to escape Daniel Warren Johnson glazing.
I want to go hip deep. I'm going in. I just have to make time for it.
I brought that up literally just to be like, oh, Ryan North's Fantastic Four is really good. You should check it out.
Daniel Warren Johnson wrote one of my favorite comics of all time, which is Murder Falcon. It is a big, fun, bombastic thing, and then it will hit you with stuff, and you're just like, oh fuck, I got to rethink shit now.
Yeah.
I probably have read the least of his work out of anyone on the podcast. But even I am like, yeah, that makes something special. And like watching his drawing streams, he seems like just a genuinely wonderful human being.
Yeah.
Oh, I got that vibe too, and even like having only read like 12 issues of Skybound Transformers, like whether or not stuff like on a granular level, if I want to nitpick things, whatever, there is an eagerness to it that I absolutely connect with, and um, there are other Transformers stories that have done stuff as referential, but without the eagerness and without the joy. And Daniel Warren Johnson, clear like it very much feels like this is some story that he's been thinking of for a while, and he has the opportunity to tell it, and it is a little nostalgia, a little nostalgia bomby here and there, but like it's coming from this place where I'm like, it's cute though, and
And there's like
I don't
level of
really
sincerity.
dislike it.
There's a level of sincerity with a lot of the deer scene. Everybody goes back to it, but
Yeah.
like that is a heartfelt, genuine expression of the character, and you're like, yes, you get it. You get a vibe.
Well, and I think the big
It's
key
so
to-
eager.
I think the key to the success of like making the eagerness come off as charming rather than cringy or at all like tired is just the fact that like I could be wrong, but like whenever I hear him talk about Transformers outside of just his comic run, I really get the vibe that he is a guy who does love Transformers, but watched it when he was a kid, and that was it. He hasn't been super plugged into it since, except to maybe pick up a figure here or there. And because of that, he doesn't have like decades of lore piled up on his brain that he feels at all committed to. So he's able to come in and do something that feels fresh because he's not at all shackled to the stuff we're used to. Which is a thing I've heard people bring up a lot in terms of excitement to this run, is just like it's cool to see people who are just comics creators work on Transformers comics for the first time in a long time.
I 100% agree.
Oh yeah, and I think that because I have seen like we've had people come in and work on Transformers from quote unquote outside where I felt it like it did not land nearly as well. Like the Australian dude, the All Hail Megatron era of IDW, he came in and exited with like a bit of a chip on his shoulder of like, I did my Transformers time, but I'm also doing these other things, and like it's like even like the most cornball eagerness, as long as it's genuine for me, that's a resonance that I really click with. And Daniel Warren Johnson stuff, like I probably wouldn't like go out of my way to like defend it against folks who found bits and pieces that just super didn't work for them, because that's in a lot of cases like I actually could see it and how it doesn't work for folks, but it's also part of the charm to me that it feels like it's a story he was thinking of. It's a version of it he feels like he was thinking about since he was like a kid, and elements of it remain childlike, but in a way that is like really heartfelt. And I always go back to the word eager because that's important to me. It's the difference between something like this and say like, the Gen X showrunner of the Netflix Transformers series, who also clearly was like operating off childhood memories and like had this idea in mind, but it had this like kind of this is a bit of a harsh word, but like sort of an odious tone to it of like, whereas with Daniel Warren Johnson, it's like, man, wouldn't it be, it feels like a kid who's like, wouldn't it be messed up if, and I don't know, maybe you want to bleep if it's too much of a spoiler from issue like 1 or 2, but like,
we do not care about
wouldn't it be messed up?
here.
Like, what if Starscream like squeezed a man and that set up like the stakes and it made someone hold a grudge against him, as opposed to like, a different version that would be like, you wouldn't be messed up if Starscream squeezed a guy and there was blood everywhere. And like that's the drive, as opposed to like the very subtle difference between that and like he's gonna squeeze a man to make these other two characters have a thrush for the next 5 issues or whatever. Like it's very subtle. And at the end of the day, if someone's just like, I just don't really like that he squeezed a man, I'm like, no, I mean that's fair too. But in the realm of, in that context, the delivery I feel like has a much more genuine flavor.
Well, and another thing that separates him from other creators who have worked on Transformers, I would say, is like he does come across as somebody who really cares about the robots as characters. He doesn't think of them as toys or engines for the story first. Like the way he writes
Mhm.
Optimus Prime, it's clearly like he has a very clear vision and idea for who Optimus Prime is as a person in his head, and he cares about portraying him right, as opposed to other creators who are coming on to Transformers after having not looked at it since childhood and go like, yeah, Optimus Prime, he's the good guy truck, and there was Soundwave, that guy who shot tapes, right?
I remember he said one shall stand this one time. We should write him to say, like that. I mean, that's another
Mhm.
example, right? It's the version of when he says a movie line. Does it feel like he's saying it because this guy was like, I remember he said this in a movie one time, or is he saying it because some guy was like, I have had this scene in my brain since I was 10, and I really wanted to see, even though I know it's a little corny. I'm gonna have him say the thing because it's part of my vision, and like that, that eagerness again coming into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, he's a good egg.
Yeah, I'm a little behind on comic books, and I'm
It's
aware of
fine.
things happening in comic books through osmosis, being around folks, but yeah, I'm a little bit behind. I'm actually interested in this is so messed up to say in 2020. I'm interested in a written book actually right now. It's
Whoa!
coming out soon.
What book?
And the
What
worst,
book?
it is a book that is spawned from a short story I read the other week on the SCP Foundation website, and the author rewrote it to be a saleable book.
That's
Which is There Is No Anti-Memetics Division, I believe it's called.
It does not surprise me at all that you would be into something like that, honestly.
That sounds
Well,
like
I've read.
it's like some kind of King in Yellow kind of shit.
Well, yeah, the like you can read the original version for free, obviously on the SCP wiki. It's a really solid read, actually. It's they collected everything related to it under the series hub Anti-Memetics Division hub, but it's by the writer's pseudonym is QNTM, and basically he was able to get a deal with, I think, Penguin, to do a version of it that obviously excises and rewrites all the stuff that is directly SCP related, but in the author's own words, doing a V2 of it also meant that he feels it is a better version of the story, but he also is leaving the original up for free forever on SCP because that's where it was born. But it's a very interesting story about, like, because SCP loves to go with the whole, like, they spread the word memetics a whole lot in the culture through a lot of their material. So the idea is, like, there's a division which is the anti-memetics division, specifically meant to deal with threatening memetic entities and objects. And so, like, what if part of the nature of their work is that nobody knows they exist anymore, for various reasons? And then it gets into some cosmic horror stuff, as not literal King in Yellow, but it gets very cosmic horror. I think the kind of thrush of the story is like, what if there was an otherworldly idea, and if you are aware of it, it's aware of you, and then it kills you. So how do you deal with that? How do you fight that thing? How do you try to actively prevent it from entering our reality? Because if it does, it will make a bunch of people know what it is, and then because it's an idea, it will simply delete people from their own minds and replace them with itself as the main idea. And it's a kind of neat horror story. So I think on the 11th, so in like 2 days from this recording, the book is coming out. There's an audiobook version going up on Audible, and I'm like, I kind of want to read this / listen to this, whichever one I do first.
It kind of reminds me of the Chuck Palahniuk book Lullaby, where there's a lullaby that you can sing to your kid and it will just kill them, and it gets stuck in the guy's
Dang.
head, and it just, like, it plays over and over in his head, and it starts doing so much that he just starts killing people, and it's like, fuck, I don't know what to do. And it's just like this whole big mystery, like, get where the lullaby, how to solve the situation, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like I enjoy a good bit of, like, cosmic horror, spooky horror stuff like that. I am an enjoyer of a bunch of SCP articles over the years. Obviously, they spread around a whole lot because a lot of them are popular, because a lot of them, there's a number of fairly nicely written ones in there. So I think one night I was like, I'm just gonna read this thing. And then, like, after reading, I was like, dang, that was cool. I wonder if people talk about it. And then saw, like, oh yeah, the author was rewriting it and the book comes out in November. And I was like, oh, good timing.
Yeah, I've been reading it for a while. I'm slow at it. No Crash Shield Cyberpunk Bubble.
Oh, I do want to read that. I have had friends for whom that book has been very important, and I've always meant to check it out.
It's very good. It's very funny, and it's also hilarious how already like 5 or 6 years after the first Cyberpunk novel, there's already someone taking the piss out of all the tropes and everything. That's just like we're running it into the ground already. Come on, guys.
What would be more punk, I guess, right?
I mean, the main character is literally named Hero Protagonist, and that's literally the best main character name ever.
Excellent. Is he going on a journey, perhaps?
Oh yeah, and his like side character, oftentimes is just written in the book as YT for yours truly. That's it. That's her name. Hero Protagonist and yours truly. Like,
excellent.
It's really good. It's really funny.
My main book things over the last couple of years have really just been like I've been getting deeper and deeper into fantasy and Stephen King, and yet I'm doing everything in my power to avoid just going right for the Dark Tower.
You don't want to go for the multiverse story, right? Yeah. You got to get all the setup.
Yeah. One day I'll read Salem's Lot, and then I'll be like, all right, fuck it, I guess we're going into this now.
I think that's been one of my favorite like reveals as I grew up, was finding out like, oh yeah, Stephen King did this whole like all my books are linked together because I think it's cool thing. Like he's been doing that for ages.
Mm-hmm. And yet people call folks like Brandon Sanderson a trend chaser for doing that, and it's like there is precedent, guys. Like yes, his is much more MCU styled, but it's always been a thing that authors will do.
I mean, it's been a thing as far back as like H.P. Lovecraft and Conan the Barbarian.
There's a
I mean, like Discworld is all in one thing, and there's like a ton of those novels.
I think there's like 41 Discworld novels.
I think it's like this thing of if it's not a clearly delineated series, people tend to get annoyed and feel like, oh, I have to read this one thing to understand this other thing, and like that's never the case with any of those things. Very rarely. Like it's not that way with a lot of book series. It's not that way with the actual MCU. It's not that way with most comic universes. Like you can just bomb in on whatever you want to bomb in, and if you're at all media literate, you can probably get the thing on its own.
Oh, I had that conversation with a friend a couple years ago when there was I forgot which one now. There was a Marvel either movie or show, and one of the little cute things at the end, they're like, oh, and 2 of these characters are Skrulls. Look, they're the 2 Skrulls from Captain Marvel. And I was talking to a friend where they were like, now I have to explain what Captain Marvel is to my family member who hasn't seen it. And I was kind of like, you don't really though. I mean, all you got to say is like, oh yeah, those are 2 aliens. They're from Marvel. Like it's pretty straightforward that like, yeah, those are 2 shape-shifting aliens. And like, you don't need to know their whole histories. You can just accept they're a pair of aliens as a goofy bit.
I feel like pop culture and general media discussion took a major hit to like the side of its head when the first Avengers movie came out, and everybody was doing movie marathons and talking about getting other people into it. And then another one of those happened when Infinity War came out, and everybody was doing movie marathons again. Like I like that stuff. I like those movies, but people got way too into the idea of like, oh yeah, you're gonna watch it all in sequence and it's all gonna line up perfectly, and it's like it's just movies.
They don't even line up perfectly. It's winks and nods. That's 90% of Marvel is just winks and nods, guys.
I still think the first literal wink and nod in one of those movies, when Thanos shows up in the post-credit scene of Avengers, I still think that characterization for Thanos is completely different than the one they ended up going with.
Oh, it is. It is like they hadn't. Well, I hate going to the wide day for a studio, but like as far as their plans of what they were doing, all they had was like, yeah, Thanos is going to be there, so he's going to appear. He's going to resemble comic book Thanos a whole bunch, and then by the time they're doing the full on film that he occupies as an antagonist, like that character is a little bit different and is being performed different by a different actor. And there's and to me, a lot of that, I've always had this kind of soapboxy thing about how like comic books are already like that when they have different artists and different authors and different editorial leaderships. Like it's pretty normal for comics to not perfectly line up. So like, why do we have this expectation that the movies are going to like just let them roll and see what they do?
True. Yeah, just
I mean,
I would like
Go,
you go.
Buster.
No, I was just gonna like be like, yeah. You go.
Well, I was also about to say it's just like there's also value in letting yourself be confused. Like you can just go in and go be like, be curious. I have no idea what's going on. Let's see what's happening. I mean, that's how soap operas and pro wrestling work.
Yeah, it's like
that's how TV worked for a while.
That's what I'm saying. Like I was about to say it. Like no, it's just like just like I used to like people just used to watch random episodes of TV and be like, yeah.
I mean, the thing that got me into Tokusatsu was watching anniversary shows where a bunch of characters come back, and you're supposed to be excited that they're back. But I'm just like, oh, look at all these cool random characters. I'll experience their stories one day.
Yeah,
like not to throw it back to MCU immediately, but like I've always personally given the example of like I didn't watch Doctor Strange, and then I watched Thor Ragnarok, and I felt they sufficiently explained to me who Doctor Strange is when he appears in it, and it was a fun sequence. And then afterwards, I was like, huh, that was fun to watch. Oh, he has a movie. I'll go check that movie out. I didn't feel like so utterly. I was like, why is there a wizard? I don't know who that wizard is. I mean, it's like, no, they said, oh, we know a magic guy in New York. We'll go see him now. I'm like, okay.
And that fucking scene in Ragnarok is still my favorite thing the MCU has done with Doctor Strange.
I personally do. I'm actually one of the few defenders of Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, like, no, it has good Madness is fun. It's not a great movie, but it's a fun movie.
It has good sequences is the best way to put it. Like, there's good bits, but
yeah,
just like
it has some Raimi-isms.
The Raimi-isms are the highlight.
I just always enjoy when the movies actually take the minute to do something that feels like you're watching a comic book on screen. And nothing is more Marvel Comics to me than, oh, we have this problem. Let's go talk to the character that specifically deals with this problem for 10 minutes.
Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
Still haven't watched that movie for theaters.
I just like the idea of like having Doctor Strange just around is like we don't know what's happening, but this guy does magic, so let's just go ask him. And like there's a fun vibe to that of like we know one wizard, so we'll just assume he knows anything that's going on.
I mean, most of the time he does, like No Way Home and the Infinity Wars.
I mean, at that time he was still Sorcerer Supreme, and that's literally your job if you're Sorcerer Supreme, as I understand it, is to know and keep track of and stop magic from going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I like the idea in a very science-oriented, MCU. Every time something happens and they don't really understand why, they're like, well, maybe it's magic, because you can have fun with that, Eventually you can just be like, look, it's just nanobots that you don't know about. Why do you keep thinking I'm having lunch?
And it's just
stop assuming everything's magic. I got magic under control already.
Honestly, that would have been such a great use of his multi-film contract rather than what they end up doing.
Is eventually have the moment where Doctor Strange is like, you know what? Here's the thing. 30% of the time, you are wasting my afternoon. Okay? Like.
Also, I just realized I had a weird dream a couple nights ago. Like about Avengers Doomsday. I guess I read an article about like, oh, they're gonna show a preview of the movie in front of the new Avatar. So I guess I was just like, I found myself in a theater with the new Avatar, or for some reason, even though I hate those films, which is very uncharacteristic of me. I guess I just, but either way. So the dream went like I was in there, and then I was like watching the trailer. I was like, this kind of tell the green screen, but it looks okay. And then it's like I was trying to leave the theater just because I was only there for that. I don't know why, but I don't know. This is a weird dream. I just remembered I had it just now.
I really thought you were about to say, and then Robert Downey Jr. looked right at me and said, "Yep, that's right. I'm in the movie, Buster. What are you gonna do about it?"
No, that did happen towards the end, but it was like they had the actual Doom mask. It looked like Marvel vs. Capcom.
And then Robert Downey Jr. called you a loser, and everyone clapped.
Well, it's like no, like there's a thing where it's like okay, maybe because it was my dream, but he took off the mask and it's like, yeah, I'm Robert Downey Jr. and he's like he has like old man hair, like for some reason. Like, I don't know if that's how he's gonna look
He's
like.
so
in the
funny
movie.
if that's his line in the
Hi.
movie.
Yeah,
he
just
just
like
takes his mask. That's right, it's me, Robert Downey Jr. Roll credits.
yeah, that would be objectively
Honestly,
funny.
if they actually did that I would nominate them for an Oscar if I had the power.
Yeah, but like the thing was, it's like maybe because it was my dream, but like I saw it, I was like, okay, maybe like I don't know why for a split second I thought it wasn't gonna be him, but like then it just like he took off his mask in the dream, and I just like left the theater being like, all right, I'm good. Like I don't know why.
Confirmed.
I was like, okay, you know what? I don't need to see it. You know what? I'm good. And then I was like, everyone was like, wait, what? Like everyone in the theater was like, they didn't know because I guess they weren't
They're
chronically
like, Robert
online.
Downey Jr. Who's that?
No, they were like, wait. I guess they're just like, wait. I didn't know he was doing back. I was like, I guess that's what the vibe. That's the vibe in the dream was. I don't know. It was a weird ass dream. It was only. I think it was
Be
only.
cool. Someone in the back's like, Robert Downey had a kid.
That would be really funny. That would be really funny.
Hello, Cody.
Yeah, but that was sorry. Oh, hi, Cody. Sorry, you came
Snowcone
into
is
me.
here now, everybody.
You came into me like having the most like
Hello.
schizo episode. I'm so
Hello.
sorry.
Again,
How was traffic?
horrible. We do not have
Do you
to talk
want
about
do you
it.
want to rant about it for a little
I
bit?
don't.
Do you want to rant about your father?
Oh, okay.
No. Believe it or not, me and my dad can get along fine.
Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Oh.
We actually had a very positive conversation about the negative effects of AI today,
Oh.
which
Whoa.
surprised me even. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's pretty cool.
I'm glad to be here. I'm glad I was able to slide in and still chat with you, Sir Vangelus. I was worried.
Hell yeah.
I was worried that
That's
75
all
was
good.
going to claim me, actually.
I mean, I was late because I lost track of the time, so I'm part of the problem.
I'm currently moving to Valdosta, which is about an hour and 30 minutes away from my current location. And I have a massive collection of nonsense, and it's not fun. I'm not having fun anymore.
Moving toys.
They're
is
not
rarely
getting
fun.
into the boxes like in Toy Story.
I've transformed so many Transformers. I don't know if I could do it anymore.
It sounds like you just have
so
a
many
collection
more
of
in
cars
Lords.
that are going to be on your shelves now.
It sounds like it is. That's definitely true. I was already thinking. I was like, you know what? Some of these should be displayed in vehicle mode. They got some really nice vehicle. They could stay in there forever. I still got to do all my Armada stuff tomorrow. But it'll be great. I'm sure in like a year I'll be able to have
In a year, you'll move past the
nice display
trauma.
of some stuff. I just know how long it took me to unpack, and it took me a year and a half to get all of my collection out of boxes and like displayed.
I feel
But
that.
I mean,
I only moved once in a major way, and it took me a million years to get some stuff out of boxes. I get it. The one upside is like, maybe you went through this before, but like, at least it's kind of like if enough time passes, they start feeling like brand new toys again when you open them. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I don't even remember how this one works.
I've been like really craving something akin to like a Mighty Max playset or like a Polly Pocket playset, and I found my unopened. I forget what the line is, but it was like before Hot Wheels had like named their micro vehicle line, but they were still in early like steps to try to compete against Galoob. So there was like a little sub playset.
Oh.
They did like 4 playsets, and I have this weird little sub playset that has like octopuses and stuff in it. And then I have a special mail-away version that came in a bag, and it's just all different colors. And I have both of them, and I got to experience that today. As I was like, oh hell yeah, I'll open this
nice.
right now. This is new for me today.
That's past you.
Well, that's
sending
the
a little
break, right?
present
That's
for the future.
It is
that's
the
going
break.
from the work play to the play, right?
Yeah, it just feels silly. It's like, oh, I gotta. It's 9:30. I gotta transform some more Transformers. Let me bust this out.
It's
real
9:30. Time to play with your toys.
I've helped out Cherry Bomb Toys once or twice with like either for their toy show or I was visiting and they got in a load of Transformers and were like, "Can you help transform these?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And so it's an interesting vibe when it's like I'm using an expertise sort of having handled lots of these, but I'm doing it for practical reasons and for the sake of them like using these as, bartering objects. And it does change the flavor because you can't really sit there and enjoy it. You gotta go like, well, I want to make 18 of these things into the other mode so that they look better for sale. Which is sort of parallel to like, I want to fold these into a shape that will travel well for moving.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's an interesting experience to go through.
The only thing I have that's similar to that is one time me and Boingo here were in a toy store in St. Augustine, and they had just gotten a shipment of like, not a shipment, they had just like bought a small collection of like micro machine stuff, and that's definitely my speciality, I guess.
Oh yeah.
So I just automatically I was like, oh, you don't know how these go together? Give me a second, and we just started like parts piecing everything together, and then I'm not sure if he gave Boingo something, but he gave me something for free.
Oh no, he didn't give me anything. I tried to help for 5 seconds. I got distracted with ADHD and started messing with shit. And they're like, "Hey, we're actually trying to figure out what's here." It's like, "Oh yeah, nope." I'm putting my hand to the side now.
I believe it was a Mega Constructs like Heroes
It was like a He-Man guy.
like Masters of the
Yeah.
Universe character. Yeah. I do still have
That's
all
nice.
those.
Like Cherry
Yeah, I
Bomb
like
has
'em.
given me some discounts here and there, especially if I helped out, and that's part of the fun if you actually have a local area toy collectibles shop that does stuff like purchase and to have this hobby expertise is it's more bartering because you're also like, hey, I'll give you a hand with that. Then they might be like, okay, cool. Hey, do you want this? Because you, depending how much stuff you were processing, you actually just did like 2 hours of work for us. So.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty much like a really hot feeling getting something as a reward like that, unmatched.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also just like it's community, and that's what people are like. People fucking long for that, and we don't actively seek it out enough.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You
There's a
gotta
nice
take
toy
steps
store.
to get that kind of stuff going. You gotta just go and like hang out places for a while. I find.
Yeah, there's a nice toy store in Valdosta that's like family owned, and I got some TMNT Speedies figures that they had like 3 different multi packs, but like in a loose bag. And they're nothing to shake a stick at or anything like that. They're not like super impressive, but they are something I was like vaguely aware of as a kid, but I never really saw Speedies too much in my Walmart. And it's cool because I got I believe they called it the shell wagon. I can't remember what the 2007 Turtle Van was called. But it's that one. It's a little baby version of that, and it's nice to have.
Was it called the Shell Razor? I'm having a memory coming together.
I
here.
think so.
Yeah.
The 2012 one?
Is it 2012 and not 2007?
I don't know very much about the 2007 movie and its toys, but I definitely know the 2012 Turtle Van was called the Shell Razor because I remember there being discourse about them using that name at the time for some reason.
Oh yeah,
'cause it
yeah.
sounds like Hellraiser.
I'm being the one who's doing the Google image search, and it was the 2012 series. Yeah.
Okay.
I believe that is the correct
I
series.
It's
remember
also
this
the name of a
packaging.
roller coaster.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it is. That's what I was wondering. Like, what are all these other image results coming in? Why is it all this
Why is there a roller
weird
coaster?
green and purple railing? Yeah. World's steepest roller coaster. Dang. Well, wait a second. It can't.
I think it's
What does steepest
indoor.
mean? There's a. Okay, because I was gonna say like eventually you're at 90 degrees to the ground, and then that is as steep as you can go.
I think there's a couple of that in like some Six Flags or Busch Garden. Straight.
Some of the Six Flags roller coasters go down and then like in, so like past 90 degrees. I guess that's not more severe, even if you're upside down.
Like that's
you're still going down.
That's centrifugal force for sure. It's just I don't know why. Like steepest to me is a weird way to put it because it's like I'm also that's just I'm a layman. When I think steep, I just think like hill. So
Yeah.
it's
That's
the
gotta be
steepest hill.
something-
It's like well,
If it gets too
Like,
steep of a hill, it's a
No
cliff.
one's arguing it.
yeah.
What is the cutoff point there, I wonder? Have we ever decided that as a species of people that are dominant on this planet?
I think
For
if we are
steepness?
starting to define steepness as also like, centrifugal force, then you can like actually wait, there's a YouTube thing about this where the thumbnail says a 121.5 degree drop. I see what you mean. Okay, yeah, it curves back and in on itself. So I guess that's steeper than but that's yeah. This might be a me
Also, maybe
problem.
that is
I
steep.
Here's
guess.
the thing. I think there's no scientific explanation, like consensus of what defines steep. So you can just say anything is steep.
It
A
goes down.
Ubisoft video
Yeah.
game about snowboarding.
You're just riding on a pea.
It's a
I'll
good
tell
game.
you about peeing. I've been doing that lately too.
Yeah, your kidneys are doing good.
I
Me
hope
too.
so.
Sometimes I drink water and it comes out of me afterwards.
Oh my
That's
god,
good.
the Beyonders on the podcast.
That's good.
That's me.
Sorry if I'm a bit quiet today. People are trying to sleep, and I also don't really have much to add, and I'm also stressed, so it just it
I
is
think
what
we're
it is.
No, it's
all
all
a
good,
good
it's all
bit
good.
lower energy than we were in the last one with Vangelus, but at least in my case, that's part of a conscious choice of I re-listened to the last one a couple days ago, and I was like, yeah, I was really on during that, and I was really just like constantly hammering you with questions, Vangelus, and I'm not saying like I feel embarrassed, but I definitely am like, yeah, I don't have I'm not that person anymore. Wow.
2 years doesn't
Don't
walk
worry
for a
about
man.
it. I'm a 2x4 and I have room for lots of nails in which to be hammered metaphorically, not physically. That would be harder. That would hurt. I don't want
Yeah.
nails
As
put
long
in
as
me.
you stay safe word, you're good.
Nobody does.
You don't want 9-inch nails put through both of your eyelids?
Ow!
No, I just want to listen to their new single.
You mean the one good thing that came out of Tron Ares?
Don't
No,
remind
nothing
me.
good.
Yeah, I like
came
how the
out of
music
that movie.
video
You
has
can't
nothing to
convince
do with
me.
Tron.
Uh,
Like the music video is just a Trent Reznor music video. I'm like, that's neat. I don't have to think about this at all.
I wonder if that was on purpose to
Oh.
like save the art, to save the work he did for the movie.
Probably.
probably.
I would not doubt.
That thought crossed my mind.
I would not doubt that there's somebody when the movie comes out digital, they just edit out all the Jared Leto and just make it a full-on music video piece.
Yeah, like it.
I'm betting you can't do that.
Yeah,
I'm
these
betting
pres-
you can't edit out all of Jared Leto. It's
You
gonna be like a
can't.
minute
You
and
can't
20
edit out
seconds. I guess
all
it
of
will
him,
just
but
be
you
a
could
minute.
edit out all of his lines.
Yeah, or at least not his face. Don't put his face on there. You know, I don't want. It's a whole thing. I mean, so
I just want,
actually,
I want them.
I don't want to even think
Okay,
about
good.
editing people right now. Cause
Yeah, I was resisting the urge to make a comment about the thing that I think you're trying to avoid.
I'm not. Well, you guys can talk about it. I've already said my piece. I mean, I might make a comment or two. If you,
Yeah, I mean, like, I've made a couple comments online about it, and, like, I don't know how up-to-date everyone else is on the podcast. Do we want to do, like, a tangent into the fucking Sentai situation that's going on this week?
I don't know
I was
anything
just
about it.
talking about that on the stream I was on earlier. There's because I mean I'm not knees deep into, well, I'm not waist deep into it, but I got knees deep because I was interested, and I was glad to see there was some info dissemination going on about like, yo, if you're like mad enough to want to focus that into a hammer for a second, here are the nails to smack. And people got the contact info out there for the tabloid that was hounding that actor and for her now former talent agency, and they were like, these are good, these are more valuable things to hit really hard if you want to hit something really hard. They have email addresses you can flood.
I hadn't heard that, so that's like the first good news I've heard about this whole thing, and I'm glad to hear it. Because
justifiably, like, folks who are not as aware of the Japanese entertainment industry are kind of like, we're gonna friggin' cut Toei open. And it's like, there's a lot of reasons to cut Toei open. There's a lot of anime fans who have been doing that as a thing for decades. Like, we can do that any time of the week. But in this particular situation, the way I describe it is there are two 40% monsters on this terrible pie that are bigger than the 20% monster that Toei is at the very least in most situations. Like, they're just reacting mostly to, I think, the demands of a talent agency. And in Japan, talent agencies are brutal, borderline tyrannical in the control they have over the careers and trajectories of young performers' lives. And so when you've
been thinking about it because the agency thing's been the big talking point. Does Japan just have nothing equivalent to like the Screen Actors Guild or anything?
Not that I'm aware of, especially when you're young. Like you go into the basically versions of the idol industry, is my understanding. Even if you're acting, you still have to develop. Like you see a lot of Sentai actors, for instance. Like how many? This is sort of a kludgy way to put it, but how many Super Sentai series have a song and dance right as the end credit sequence where the actors are doing the singing and dancing?
Yeah, multi-talent. They need multi-talent on their board of people on like
their
these
sellable
shows.
products.
So
because that's how agencies
the
characters is the best way I could put it.
Even the actors, like my understanding at least, and obviously, like I'm always going to say I'm speaking from a layman's perspective here, and I just read some stuff. But when it comes to like the young actors who are working on Toei Tokusatsu shows, often they are being. This is a weird way to put it, but I feel this is sort of accurate. Their talent agencies are selling their services to Toei, and there's still obviously an audition process and everything, but the quote unquote owner of those actors is their talent agency. And there's been other examples of this, even in this niche. Like the actor who played Philip in Kamen Rider Double did not return to that role for a very long time, if ever, because he loved that role. He loved working with the guy who played Shotaro, but his agency told him, "This is beneath you. If you have any, we have better aspirations for you. So you will not be working on Kamen Rider anymore."
From what I understand, he wanted to appear in the Heisei Forever movie for Gio, but scheduling conflicts caused it so that he couldn't appear, and they had to like rewrite that scene, which you can kind of tell because they kind of just be like, "Oh, this character can suddenly use double powers," but it's still like, it is. They worked around it.
Yeah. I could have sworn there was scuttlebutt that like he actually wanted to do some of the stuff that Shotaro's actor got to do afterwards as well.
Oh yeah, like a
and
Tyson.
that and it was his talent agency who were just like, "No, you are not going to be doing that. Our product is going to be doing this once it has reached your stage." Like the talent agencies, to my understanding, tend to, at the worst of cases, to them their talents are their product.
Yeah,
I thought it was also telling that like. And I apologize for not getting all the names right here, but like the fellow who played Shoichi in Kamen Rider Agito got out on socials and was like, back in my day, talent agencies were supposed to protect and guide younger talents, i.e. ones who are 19, just about to turn 20, for instance. They're supposed to guide and protect them through the murky waters of the early stages in their industries. They're not supposed to just let them flounder. Like I think he avoided saying it specifically, but he all but was saying, they're not supposed to throw you to the wolves like this. That's not how this is supposed to work, and that's not how it worked when I was younger.
The actor for Bokenger's Black Ranger also did some. It was basically vague words of support, which
I mean, I've seen some of the ones that have retired be a lot more forthright with it. Like the one who was, I know it says Jungle Fury. I can't remember what the Sentai's name, but the yellow one, the yellow Geki Ranger. Yeah, she was a lot more forthright. It's like, no, this is kind of fucked up.
Yeah, and I think that it just hit me how like screwed up it is when the episode like aired, and it was just a poor. It's not even on Japanese streaming. From
everything. It looks like it's a hatchet job.
Oh no, yeah. No, I believe the talent agency just swung a sledgehammer at Toei and said, like, as per our contract, we are making dictates as to how our property is going to be represented in your show. I say that I'm being mean in the way I word that.
Well, I mean,
that's
the licensing
the
rights,
vibe, I guess.
The likeness rights.
We've seen that show.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
Tiga, like the Daigo actor appearing, and like even the music for Ultimate Tiga having to be replaced halfway, like for modern releases.
Like all of this is stuff I have.
There was a good.
I was just gonna say, like, all of this is stuff I have heard before, and I've always been like aware in the back of my mind that like there is some really evil and weird shit about the way this whole industry that I'm a fan of operates. But it feels like the curtain got really violently jerked back in the last 24 hours. And it's just got me bummed to the level of like anything Toei feels kind of gross, even though I know it is like the industry as a whole,
Well,
but it's Toei specifically right now.
Well,
And anytime
I-
I say that, I feel a little guilty. I feel like I'm saying like, oh, poor pitiful me, I got exposed to the truth, the reality of the situation. But at the same time, it's like I can't help how I feel.
I think that like it doesn't help that like the motivator of this situation is full on racists and a tabloid pushing the agenda of some just real ugly racists and then succeeding basically like
It's
it's the ugly one of the ugliest possible versions of the situation
like the
too.
James
So
Gunn
it's
situation
really
in a way.
like
You know?
stinky.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
keep like there's a thing of the back of my mind that it's not gonna happen. I would love to be proven wrong, but to think this situation is salvageable, but I don't think it is. I don't think the
And here's the other thing on
situation-
the Toei is not completely blameless thing in my head of like, to me it just seems like Toei's like, all right, this is off the rails. We're being fucked with the agency. We're already ending Sentai. The show is almost over. Fucking salvage what you can. We're wiping our hands of this.
Yeah, it's just
Oh yeah,
especially-
they're not going to do any kind of like outreach. Like they're just going to do what the talent agency says. Do the work as fast and harshly as possible.
Yeah, it
'cause-
sucks.
yeah, like or go
you
ahead.
go. No, I was gonna say I was really enjoying
was-
those feature.
Yeah, and I would encourage folks like as much as you can, like still enjoy what what did come out. Like who knows what if this week was some kind of like just like we need to put a band-aid over this right now while we sort out what to do with like to my understanding what they have already filmed for most of the rest of the series. But yeah, like I am never gonna go like lay off Toei guys because like no they're not a very they're a company who's really easy to drop kick in the throat and get some satisfaction out of it. But I guess I saw a lot of good points being made, like obviously the big one being this tabloid and this talent agency deserve quote unquote objectively even most of the ire of this situation. And also like as far as like how much the racist agenda at work extends into Toei, it's like they did audition and hire her for the role. So like if someone in Toei specifically was like, I ain't touching anyone who is not pure, that would have already not had her on screen in the first place. They're just spineless, as many companies are. And I think especially in the Japanese entertainment industry, as no company is going to question the power and strength of the talent agencies in that equation, which sucks.
Yeah.
Like that happened to a guy who was in the Judgment Games. That actor who was found with like a weed cigarette, and then they're like, "All right, excise him, recast, model a new character, delay the game, reinsert this new character, make it as though he never existed. Also, you, the actor." Who was caught with a weed cigarette, put out a statement about how you will excommunicate yourself from public life. And a lot of that was all at the edict of fairly ugly entertainment culture.
I mean, that's also part of the reason why Onimusha wasn't re-released for years.
Yeah, the actor likenesses
It's
like,
just-
of like the
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And
It's
it goes. I'll just say it goes without saying. Like this is also not an even hand at work because many people have cited like, what about the dude? What about the blackface dude? What about the sexual harasser? What about the literal pedophile? It's like, yeah, well, those aren't women. So
Yeah, it's just xenophobia all around. And like I think it sucks because I planned so much. Like for me specifically, I planned so much like Sentai shit to come out. Like I was doing a weekly podcast covering the new Godzilla and Zed. So it was just and now I have to change all that because I don't want to. I don't want to deal with any of this. Like I had like a big Showa Sentai video planned, and now I have to put that to the side for God knows how long.
The thing that really gets me about it is just like the thing they're citing for firing her is like a pure technicality. Like no matter, I don't know. what
utter bullshit. Utter bullshit.
And the thing is, like, it maybe wouldn't bother me as much if it wasn't for the fact, like, that's how I got fired from my last job. Is like not the exact thing, but the same kind of thing of like being rules lawyered out of there because somebody already didn't like you. And it just personally makes me mad that like a company that's creating ostensibly entertainment that's there to teach kids how to be good people while also selling them some plastic toys is capable of doing something that I consider so moronic and evil.
I mean, I don't know the specifics offhand, but I mean, there have been things connected to like the localization of One Piece and Dragon Ball, for instance. When I say anime folks have been through the ringer with Toei, it is because I've been told by friends that like anything you see Toei do that makes you go like, "What is this stink?" It's like, "Oh yeah, they've been doing that for ages." The
Yeah.
and undervaluing is not the right word, but like the almost open hostility with like they want to see this thing that we have, but over there, god damn it, and like this impossible tone of like, dude, I guess you just don't like it that you are not receiving yen, which reads real ugly, I guess. But no, yeah, it's a bummer. It's unfortunate that like also, Super Sentai is supposed to be some of the most simple, most down to the toddler level fare of like this is to feel good and kind of have fun. It's like it's supposed to be the lowest stakes thing, and for an actor to have been ditched out of her role by everyone who was supposed to look after her, on the back of simply the fact that she is, if I understand correctly, partly Filipino, is horrific. It's incredibly ugly. I have seen some notions that like there's a decent chance she can find another talent agency that is, perhaps more willing to go to bat for someone in the face of like tabloid nonsense like that. But so you got to see how it plays out, I guess.
It's like, at this point, it's just like wait and see because like I have no idea what's just like it's just a mess, and I'm just and especially because as a big fan of these things who like wants to talk about it, I have to like readjust everything. It's just
just slap an asterisk on it for a bit.
Yeah, like
because
like not to be like a hoper, in the annoying way, but like there's so much work that is already done that like I am sure not even, and I'm not going to say that they're sticking their neck out for her, but I'm sure that there are elements within Toei who are more so arguing like, do you know how much beyond the pale this is messing with what is supposed to be the last couple of weeks of work on this thing that we've mostly already shot.
I mean,
how much of this bill are you willing to foot? Talent age, like I'm sure there are some real ugly negotiations going on right now.
There has to be some kind of lawyer litigation of like, you are costing us this amount of money, pay up.
Yeah,
you're asking us to excise a main character 40 episodes in or whatever, right? Like
there's like 10 episodes left. This isn't like a Bioman situation where it's like, oh, you can easily pivot and like like there wasn't really much like information on the situation. We know how this happened. It's like gross.
And if there's 10 episodes left, I would say at least 5 of those episodes must have already had most of their shooting done. So like
but they Sentai and Kamen Rider shoot like way earlier than they used to now because they shoot like 20 episodes and then episode 1 airs. So it's like there's a lot of work done already. This is gonna be a nightmare to like salvage if nothing gets resolved.
I'm not going to say this is super likely to happen, but like the most positive outcome of a horrible situation to me is in the long term when it comes to streaming and physical releases, there's I think a small chance they negotiate like, let us just finish with what we have. We'll put acknowledgments on all the media of like this actor has, receded from the industry, blah, blah, blah. But like I could see a version of this where in the long run, in the next 5 years, looking back, the real version of the last 10 episodes is just what is there and they just don't talk about it. Like the way that this isn't the same thing whatsoever, but the way that the TV ending of Decade got minorly re-edited so that it makes remotely any more sense in the long run. Absolutely not the same situation, but if I'm to cite any precedent,
I think that's being very hopeful, and I think the Decade thing is something
Oh yeah.
we really owe to the moms of Japan. As funny as it is to say that,
Yeah.
but like,
And damn it, I want to see those moms rise up now and go like, "Yo, I day drank 3 months before I was legal to day drink.
Yeah.
My kid is confused and I'm angry." Like,
God, I hope so, but I don't know, man.
Yeah.
The bright side
this-
I can pull
this
out of
is-
it is just like, this is a great time to say to people like, hey, have you not seen much Ultraman or Garo? You know what's really easy to get a hold of right now?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
like,
no, I mean-
I mean,
Go ahead.
sadly, I'm not really vibing with the current Ultraman, but I can always go back to these.
Yeah. Just because you've seen
Yeah.
all of old Ultraman doesn't mean everyone else has.
I haven't seen all of it. I'm mostly seeing the Heisei, like, new gen stuff.
Yeah, but you've seen more of Ultraman than any person I know.
That feels weird. Like, that I'm like the Ultraman guy to some people. Like, I mean, I like it. Like,
I would
love
also
it.
I'd also say, just to like, as a little capper, like, this is the worst that this whole situation is going to feel, because this is when it's happening.
Yeah.
So like, this is gonna, just in general, this is going to
Yeah.
be
This
this week
too
is
shall
going to be the
pass.
ugliest.
Yeah, see,
week.
here's the thing. I'm so
Yeah.
numb to all this agency bullshit because I'm in the VTubing circles and just hearing.
I was gonna say, just go find all the HoloLive fans, go all find the Nietzsche fans, like everyone who's been going through this for 100 years already, and much like we Rider fans could turn to the One Piece and Dragon Ball fans when we were like, why doesn't Toei just? And then they would just come in and go like, here is a shoulder to rest on, because I have been in your shoes before.
Just seeing all the
Yeah.
entirety of V Shoujo fucking turn to ash. Boy, fucking howdy. And that
Yeah.
was worse because that was about $1 million worth of money going to charity.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always
True.
going to be someone with the parallel experience who can be like, yo, you know what though? I've been there, so let it out.
Well, on the bright side, at least Transformers is in a great place right now.
It's still owned by
right?
Hasbro, right?
That's right.
For now.
I got me a robot of an animal man called Onyx Prime, and I was able to do a shot of him eating my Cronus Prime like the shot of Saturn eating his child, and it was perfect. So Transformers
Oh,
have never been in a
beautiful.
better place.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, no,
Uh,
it's great. They're totally not quietly killing Earthspark off or anything like that.
Oh, I mean, in the wider scope of things, like I don't want to be a super doomer, but like the context for me is the toy industry is kind of been on a decade-long slow collapse in the face of me doing the everything hand gesture. So like
Yeah.
it's interesting to see the way that things bounce around, and I take it just a year at a time. I'm like, hey, you know what? Eric Siebenaler getting on a Transformers team again seemed like the last thing that the Corpo would do, which is hire a new person. So
Or
that's
hire
that's
an old
kind of
person
neat.
back.
Yeah.
It's,
I mean, to me, it's just hire a person. It's like
It's
that's
weird, 'cause
pay another
there's, like,
person.
Damn.
there's fun stuff like Cyberworld is solid. The comics have been pretty good, and the toys have really never been better if you're into what they're doing. And like the weird random things are coming out of the woodwork. Like, we just got the Binder of Revelation leaked, but at the
Yeah,
same time, it's
that
like
leak actually happened. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, but at the same time, it's like Earthspark is about to air its last 2 episodes, freaking Owl House style, and then the future of the movies is completely up in the air right now. So who knows? It's this weird dichotomy we're sitting in.
Yeah, the media side of things. The media side of things, I think, not just for Transformers, but just in general, like TV's like more or less a corpse. So when it comes to like, what do we do with toy commercial media? It's like, I hope a streaming service wants it, basically.
Right? I hope you know
so,
how to
like,
dig through a children's YouTube channel.
Yeah. So yeah, and that is not, I think, exclusive to Transformers. That's just like, that is a wide-reaching crisis that those interwoven industries are facing. Because yeah, like when it comes to the wider picture, right? Transformers is a strong intellectual property owned by Hasbro Corpo that they don't have to pay someone else to use, and that they can license out to things. So I am happy that we still have a design team who are making toys that go on a shelf, because that's novel right now in the wider picture. But like, yeah, like Earthspark, the fact that Earthspark exists is novel to me, because it's like, and that Cyberworld is an animated cartoon with voice actors was novel to me. I don't mean to come in. It's not meant to be as cynical as it sounds, but in the current context we live in, I was blown away by Cyberworld episode 1 having craft to it, because I was like, they haven't shown a single thing for
No,
this.
I wasn't
Uh,
as doom and gloom as you were. I was like, at best, this is probably going to be a rescue bot situation where it's like it's good, but it's not for me. But no, Cyberworld is legitimately delightful. Like every time an episode comes out, I'm like, drop everything because this is going to be a really entertaining 5-10 minutes.
yeah,
I need to
I
get
was
on
straight up
watching it.
expecting no dialogue stop motions is what I was expecting. Like, and I wasn't saying it too loudly, because I was like, this speculation does not serve to help anybody. So it's just, that's what I was thinking before episode 1 came out. So I was overjoyed that, like, this is being animated by humans who are throwing in funny little references like dead Peter Griffin and dead Yamcha in the same episode. It's being voiced by human actors who sound like they're trying to do character voices. Like, this is what is novel to me now. So like, it's nice to see.
What a time to be
And
alive.
yeah. No, I mean, it's it's part of why I like to keep a narrow scope on my hobby stuff, because it's like everything is in such a state of like utter random, sometimes destructive flux that I think you kind of just have to go month to month, year to year, to see where things are going, and be as liquid as possible. So like, you can take lots of joy in something like Cyberworld, and even though you might have to track down a funny way to watch them, like once Earthspark is complete, it's a completed show. It has a handful of bespoke toys to go with it. Um, Cyberworld's got some fun toys to go with it. In Canada, they are just so expensive.
Hey man, I look at those things on the shelf here and I'm like, I don't know if that's worth that much. Like I like the show, that's a neat design, but God, freaking $10 for that? You sure?
Well, at least the new Transformers Micro Machines will be cheaper if they actually come out.
Yeah, they're doing Micro Machines. I saw that recently. I'm always happy when Micro Machines as a brand appears, because it's like, all right, they're gonna make something with that logo on it. That's neat. Like, I'm not a big Micro Machines dude, but I appreciate the vibe.
It died for a long time. Like it was Galoob, then it died, then it was Hasbro, then it died. Now it's still Hasbro, but like given to another company to mess with. And the
Yeah.
last like 3 years it's been going on, and it's been like kind of okay. I've seen a lot of people in like the Micro Machine groups just like still get it, because they're like, well, if we don't, they'll kill it. They'll kill it for good this time if we don't do it.
And it's
Although
also
then
like,
again,
hey, if Micro, or good.
oh, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's like, if Micro Machines is my main thing, and we only get some every couple of years, it's like, hey, it's easy to collect, I guess, right? Because it's like, hey, we friggin' Micro Machine stuff came out. Let's pick it up.
That's the thing. I've been so hyper focused on 1/12 scale action figures for collectors and Generations Transformers for the last few years. But that's kind of my reaction to any toy line now. Is just like, oh, that still exists. They're still putting that logo on boxes. That's neat.
Well, the
Yeah.
main surprise here is that they did the Transformers stuff like about maybe a year and a half ago. They did like these little blind boxes that kind of worked the best that I've seen a blind box work, where like the box unfolds into a Micro Machine set, so it felt very strongly like the old Micro
Oh, that's
Machine
cool.
sets. They're nice and they connect with each other. My only critique about them is that there's something felt off, although the detail was there. It turns out the thing that felt off was the original Micro Machines painted the molded detail to a very specific like degree. The new wave of Transformers is, at least like these leaked test shots, is what a lot of people are calling them, are fully painted, and they look
Hmm.
literally like they look so much like the beetle is not correctly proportioned, but almost in the same way that like the old Micro Machines beetles were. Um, it's just nice, and I
Yeah,
think it
yeah.
also has a little bit to do with like where kids and like parents are spending their money. Because a lot of times Micro Machines is one of those toys that like is tiny, so not just by necessity, not that expensive in comparison to like
Yeah.
other things. Um, and there has been a
I
very
had
very
only
odd. Oh, go ahead.
I had only seen the Optimus pictures. I just wanted to find the news item. I didn't know they were doing even like Cybertronian vehicles. That's actually kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's being produced by Jazzwares.
Yep.
Yeah, that's neat. Like you said, it's hard to make Micro Machines expensive, so it's a fruitful place to play around in and produce stuff.
We just thought they died again is the main surprise, and they end up coming back with
Hmm.
like the one thing that most people complained about is like that the it was molded, or it was like plastic color instead of like painted color, and now they're actually painting the detail
Yeah.
on them. The Transformers
almost-
ones were already better looking than the regular.
I almost wonder if it's like they had to take a little bit of extra time to course correct that because they saw people complaining about it, and that's what caused there to be such a big gap that people thought that it died again.
Maybe. It also feels oddly timed with like this weird rise of like the like popularization of like Polly Pocket and like new Polly Pocket sets coming out. There's now themed crossover Polly Pocket sets. There might have been before, but like there's really cool ones now. There's a Back to the Future one coming out.
Hmm.
There's a SpongeBob one coming out. Jurassic Park's doing like the classic like dinosaur head that folds out into a playset again. Like there's a lot more of that coming all of a sudden, all at once from multiple different companies. And it might have to do with like just the general state of things, smaller, better, easier to store. Just like with how a lot of Lego stuff, like a lot of Lego sets, whenever they shrink down, it's more cost friendly to families, so it's able to collect more. But I don't know, it's just a neat thing, something I was excited about.
That's a
Hopefully
part of the toy industry that I really enjoy is like, I often say like, yeah, it's an industry that is perpetually in a state of like nothing, like, everything is falling down around us as far as how it was all supposed to work. But the toy industry is also real stubborn in like, what's the current status quo? It's this. All right. We're going to make ourselves fit into this still. We're still going to put out things. We're still going to make this happen. Like it's kind of endearing to watch in that sense of like, the toy industry, for a lack of knowing how to fix the situation around them, are just always, on a very industry wide level, they're always just like, well, how do we just stuff ourselves into the new hole that we occupy and continue doing our thing as best we can. And it's kind of cool if like, micro-sized, for lack of a better term, stuff is like making a resurgence, because like you said, that does fit well with a situation where a lot of costs are going up again, and lightweight stuff that is satisfying and also doesn't occupy too much physical space in what could be shrinking living spaces, depending on people's situations. Like it's adaptation, but also leads to interesting revitalizations.
And it's I don't know. Maybe I'm no, that's not. I'm glad there's micro things more. That's the best I could put shitty. I'm definitely not glad
I know.
of the circumstances.
I think I know what you mean. No, I mean, yeah. I should also say I'm never like, damn, isn't it great that like plastic prices skyrocketed, so they had to downsize a lot of engineering practices? But it's like, hey, in this situation, we were able to figure out some kind of cool things on the back of what is not a great situation for anybody. Things are getting harder. The Hasbro is licensing more of their stuff out. They're doing much smaller, bringing Micro Machines back to do really tiny Transformers vehicles. But you know what I'm getting? I'm getting the jet mode of my favorite live action Megatron, and the wings are on little joints. Look at the wings, look like they can fold back. That's kind of cool.
It's really nice. It's really exciting.
Yeah.
Just don't think about the implications.
I've always gravitated towards smaller figures, I guess. Just I grew up loving Star Wars as well, so like I have like nothing but Black Series
Mm.
now, but like I still have all of my original quarter-inch figures. And growing up being a fan of like those figures in like the early 2000s through like the prequels, seeing other companies do small toys, it's just kind of like I've seen it done differently. I've seen Hasbro do it differently, and like I've seen Hasbro do better in the past. What's going on sometimes, but um, something about like the simplicity, like there's some sort of
Mm.
satisfaction in my brain where like a Lego set, for example, one of these years, one of my like my top number one thing that I bought that year was a Lego Street Sweeper set, just because of it was like $10. It was the perfect size. It looked exactly as it should, and had like perfect functions. The wheels made bristles move. It had a little like garbage collection
Oh,
in the
nice.
back. Like it was just exactly what it should have been for a perfect price. Something easy to grab off the shelf, something tiny and pure. Um, and a lot of
Mhm.
times, like the Lego Mixels were like that for me. Like my favorite scale for
Oh,
Transformers
Mixels
is
ruled. Yeah.
Legions. Yeah, I just moved them all yesterday. I have almost all of them, which is a fun thing to say, but
Yeah,
I don't think I'll ever try to finish them.
I only ever opened a couple Mixel sets, but like those were immensely satisfying, and they also like, I thought they were some of the most encouraging. Um, like obviously creator sets, with 3 different builds and etc. Like those encourage you to be imaginative, but like the Mixels just being like secretly like here's a pile of joints, um, was like a really interesting other angle on encouraging imaginative building, especially in someone like me who's just not very good at it. Because it's like, what if you just give you a bag of ball joints though and some bricks that stick them together? And I was like, this is activating that part of my brain stronger. Damn. Now I want to make little action figures out of these.
And
Um,
the fact that like if you could get 3 of one type, you got a larger set, a funner, cooler guy to build. Always a
yeah.
benefit. Not necessary, but always a benefit.
I had heard you
Yeah.
mention this name before, Cody, but I hadn't actually looked at these until now. I just Googled them. This just looks like what if Lego did Digimon, and it's kind of wonderful.
There was a Cartoon Network
Mm.
cartoon about it,
Mm.
which
Yeah.
might be.
And
I'm not going to say that's why it failed. It didn't fail. Lego has a cycle with their stuff. They usually only keep something around for like 3 years. Ninjago.
Well, and Cartoon Network
yeah.
has also just had like a contract with Lego forever to produce shows based on their original stuff, I feel like.
I love Ninjago, but it's why we will never have Bionicle back. It's not like a bad thing. It's not like I'm not spiting Ninjago. It's simply a
Really,
fact.
Mister, I had the Bionicle dream again. You're not upset
Well,
about it.
it's literally because of like they are or not thematically. I'm not sure how I would. They're the same thing in Lego eyes. They are the same thing. They are elemental, team based.
Action.
They change, like outfits or aesthetics or maybe even team members from like season to season or series to series. But Ninjago proved to be the longer lived, like more consistent thing that people love. And I mean, the sets are great. Like I've never picked up a Ninjago set at any scale that I didn't enjoy. Like I love the polybags just because they're a lot like Mixels. They normally have like little like articulated figures in there, and it's easy to like play around with. Even like some of the new stuff coming out looks nice and refined. They just did a really cool like victory lap series like a year or so ago, where like they just remastered some of the best like Ninjago sets, which is like kind of a rare thing for Lego to do, except for like recently.
Yeah, I feel like the only brands where they will like go back over old concepts again and again is Star Wars.
Lego City.
That's true,
Well,
but
Lego
like
City
I
because
feel like
like
every Lego City, whatever kind of building, is meant to be like a different building just in the same style. It's not meant to literally be the same thing again.
well they also hit like the same checklist every year where they're like, all right, new police center, new hospital, new fire department. Except for one year, I think like last year they did all 3 in 1 set. Um, but yeah, no, I mean Lego is very specific in a lot of ways. But there's also like a bit of a dark shroud around like Bionicle that I think they just tend to. Outside of it being a little bit different for them to produce. I know they could. I know they absolutely could, but like, I don't know. Lego seems to be getting away from like the smaller, more affordable sets and getting more into like this set will cost you everything. This is a car payment. Enjoy.
Yeah.
I guess it's just the adult market versus like the kid market, but like the Ninjago stuff still normally has like a $10 range, and a lot of the creator sets that are like $10 or $15 are like some of my favorite. I think it's because it's like the way that the process goes for like making those sets, there is constraints. They're like, all right, you have a budget, a very small budget, a very small box. Do what you can with it, and they just seem to excel a lot with it.
So what about Lego creators or what people Lego designers? It's like they're built different. They're really able to hack that
Teehee.
shit out.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I've witnessed student scissors at work doing Lego stuff, and like I don't understand how quickly some folks can sort out some of those puzzles more like it. Like I want to make with Legos, I want to make us a forklift that stands up and looks like a biped, and I'm going to do that with Lego. Or like there was some students had shared some cool stuff in a couple discords I'm in of like what was it, like animal themed vehicles and stuff with like gimmick ideas in them, and like it's an amazing design language.
They get to have a lot of fun. I know that.
Don't worry, Cody.
I was also looking at Mixels again, remembering what they look like.
They're just funny little
uh,
guys. I dig it.
Everything about how
At the time,
they-
I remember.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, at the time, I remember mockers specifically telling people like me, like, you don't understand how valuable these poly bags of ball socket joints are to the creative process. And I was like, all right, I'm down.
there was always great colors in those sets, great special parts. Like early on and like almost immediately did they have like some parts and colors that had like never seen before. I have one over there that's like the electric ones from like Series 2 or something. And they have like the classic Lego bush in like all yellow, which had never been done before. Which is, I guess, the type of stuff that people get excited about, like Lego fans. I get excited about it. I don't even build like that. Like I don't give myself the space. Hopefully that'll change in my new house. But like I don't give myself a desk to sit down at and like play around with Legos as I wish or have always dreamed of. So like I'll be like, oh wow, I have this part in this color now. That's great. That sure is neat.
Oh, I recognize that energy even from like, you know, friends of mine who are still like out there like back collecting Bionicle stuff, and it's like, you know, I got these joints in this color. It's hard to find them in this color, or even, you know, the legendary thing of like, oh, this guy has unbroken lime green joints.
Oh no, not
I need
the
some
lime
for my
green
big
joints.
bin of unbroken lime green joints.
It's almost as bad. I mean, it's a little bit worse maybe than Brittle Brown. Brittle Brown affected a lot of pirate sets just because of like the docks and boats, but like the fact that the joints can break, I know for a fact some of my Bionicle sets have broken joints. Some of my OG Bionicle pieces, like my original Toa Gali, or if that's how you said that, I can't remember. And the dirt one, those things are built Ford tough or something. Like they're great. I can't bring myself to play with Bionicle too much anymore because I fear breaking it, and I know how like much of a mental anguish day it would be if I like broke my favorite Bionicle piece or something. Like I would just be fucked. Same thing with Zevos, Hasbro's Zevos. I have almost all of those. They're very fun to play around with, except they are ball jointed figures. And my favorite ones, the translucent ones, like the fire guy and the electricity guy, those break on their own. They crack under their own regular existence without even being like attached to something. They will eventually start developing cracks, even inside of the packaging. And that sucks.
I've had that with some of the very chromy Microman figures from the 2000s. Which led me to start actively selling them because I was just like, I don't think I like these enough to outweigh how much I worry about the especially the the vac metalized ball socket connections that I've had disintegrate on me before. Yeah, this was like the They were often like in diamond distributing in the 2000s, and I just ended up trying to sell most of them to people, and I just tell them like, hey, you got to be super careful with some of these parts because the aesthetics are super strong and they look really cool. It's just some of them are so very delicate that I'm a very handsy toy person, so it just doesn't vibe with how much I want to poke things and move them around.
I have two of the Acro Year X Microman figures. One looks like a brain in the jar guy, and the other one's like a snake thing. I've been terrified.
Yeah,
The
I
snake
remember
one
those.
is broken in the box. Like that one was like
Yeah.
I remember looking at the tail and seeing one of the joints was like broken already. I took some pictures of them in my like old house back in like my old hometown. I've been fearful to ever interact with them ever again, but they are beautiful.
That's the era I'm talking about. Yeah, like they did a couple different series of those. There were the micro ladies. There was the set where they all had like these sort of Tron cycle vehicles with them that could merge together.
There was also a lot of
some of them are
stuff during that era, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been trying to sell a Microman Catwoman at toy shows for ages that I got from a comic shop at some point and never really opened.
Yeah,
But they had like
Supergirl
robot
from that
suit
line that I
Superman.
wanted for a really long time, but never got a hold of.
There's a Godzilla
Yeah.
with a like the Godzilla is like a rubber suit, I think, which is cool. But I just don't expect that thing to exist.
So the rubber on those, at least back when they came out, the rubber is super dense and thick, and sturdy. But it also meant that if you actually put the Microman inside as a suit actor, the rubber would just go like, "I am stronger than all of your joints. I'm not moving."
Yeah.
So it's just basically a soft Godzilla.
So it just turns into that
which
one
still looked
analog
pretty
horror
cool.
Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, as memory serves, for the longest time, this was like, in terms of both detail and articulation, this was the best comic Supergirl figure you could get. I forgot.
Oh
about
yeah,
this
I
guy.
remember this one.
Hey, Kinniku Man!
I wanted to track down those vehicle forming ones for the longest time, but like the more I looked into them and the more I saw the prices change, and then to like learn that even around that time they were starting to become, or they were starting to develop issues, I was like, I'm gonna end up upsetting myself. Like I went back and bought, I can't remember the exact theme or name of the theme. I think it was like Robot Zord. I'm not gonna. But in like the early 2000s, Hot Wheels did like their own tune of Transformers, but it was like robots that kind of like laid down like they were surfing on a Hot Wheels 1/18 scale like base.
Yeah, I know those ones.
Yeah, those things
Yeah.
disintegrate. They have little baby ball joints, and they do not survive. I bought one brand new, opened it, and I just you can't. You really can't.
That just made a neuron fire off to me. Vangelus, for the longest time, I have been trying to explain to Cody the situation with the G1 Omega Supreme ramps and the decoy figures, and you're the first person who ever brought that up that I heard.
Oh,
can you help us settle this debate?
So this was indicative, not so much of an issue with either the decoys or Omega Supreme, but it was an example of like plasticizer transfer, basically, which is something that soft B collectors have dealt with for a while. Doll collectors have dealt with it for a while as well. But it's just someone in on Twitter, I believe, had told me, and they took a photo of it even, that like they witnessed it firsthand because they set up their Omega Supreme in base mode and put a bunch of decoys all over the tracks that are the wings of Omega Supreme, and then just left it like that for years. And because it was like that for years, the plasticizer in the feet of the decoys started to like transfer into whatever they were standing on. And so years and years later, when he went and finally picked up the decoys, they left melted footprints in the wings.
Yeah. And if memory serves, like people have discovered a similar thing can happen with the Siege era effects parts, right?
Yeah. If you leave them attached to like the harder plastic components that they're supposed to plug into, and you leave them like that for again like years, then they start to potentially transfer their plasticizer into the hard plastic, which will make the little pegs crack off or make the hole they're in start to develop like a fracture. In their case, like it's fine to plug those parts in for a photo shoot. It's if you leave them in for a really long amount of time, and also if you physically can see like almost a sweat effect on the soft plastic parts.
Oh, no.
The knowledge that was going around is like if you can see them sweating the plasticizer off, then you can just wipe that stuff up, and there's a chance that they may have just reached the quote unquote balance point that they were sweating towards. Because it's just all about like balances of plasticizer in the plastic itself to give
Yeah,
it the
it's
gummy property.
it's not so much a thing of like don't use them ever as it is like be careful and don't like make a static diorama that uses them and leave them that way forever.
I think the only thing I've had
Yeah.
plugged in for a long time is the fire effects to what's his name? I've forgotten his name. The bird lion plane guy.
Skylinks.
Oh,
Skylinks.
Skylinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
send
out
his
of
mouth
the
and it's hanging
four of
down.
fucking us, I'm the one who fucking remember that first.
So I forget it all the time. I love him so much, and it's like it's one of those things where my brain will just make me not do it.
I would say you might want to pull them out of there if they've been in for a while. There's totally a chance that also like it's so variable. Like sometimes it's also just fine. But those are in the realm of the kind of plasticizer rubbery effect parts that like you might want to like store separately in the long term. But it's not like they're gonna literally melt his head or anything. It's just they transfer. In some cases, they might transfer some of what makes them rubbery into the hard plastic, which then will make it brittle.
Right. I know I guess a similar thing happened to a Wolverine figure I had from Toy Biz. I remember like I had all my Toy Biz figures in the same box. That Wolverine had a rubber jacket on him, and it was the most insane thing I've ever seen. It was worse emotionally, which is a funny way to put that, but it was worse emotionally for my Transformers Prime zombie cliff jumper because I picked him up and he just did I can't even think of a good reference for that one. He turned into dust. He fell apart in my hands.
You
I picked
created
him
the
up and, like,
iconic scene from the television show where he died the second time.
Exactly. That's exactly what he did. But I remember picking up the Wolverine and watching as the jacket stayed where it fucking was. Like, the front of the jacket. Like, it just stayed where it was, and the figure came up out of it. I was like, oh, that's bad. That's broken.
That's kind of fucked right there.
melted.
No.
And I was selling those to somebody.
That actually happens a
Grab
lot
that
in
right
tech
now.
too.
Oh yeah, the
Like,
plastic.
there's a lot of 2000s era. Yeah, 2000s era tech loved its rubberized grips thing with those on them from the 2000s. They are probably extremely sticky now.
Vangelus,
like
have you
just-
watched any of Dank Pods' videos?
I have not. No.
Okay, Dank Pods is a guy, he started out mostly making videos about the iPod and all the different versions
modifying
of it.
them.
And yeah, but of course eventually that well ran dry. So now he just does like anything oddball 2000s era technology, and he has a thing like he'll refer to iPod knockoffs or iPod alikes as nuggets. So he has like a regular monthly series called the Nugget Lucky Dip because he'll just buy all kinds of random crap off eBay and throw it in a bag, and he'll just stick his hand in there and pull one out, and inevitably every episode there's one that's just really friggin' sticky, and he's like, I can't even touch this with my bare hands.
I do have a lot of old
that-
rubberized surfaces like that on like cameras and old controllers, especially like old Mad Catz controllers.
Yep. Yeah. That's almost an easier example of how to explain plasticizer stuff TM than action figure examples, because it's like this is just raw. Like this is just a like surface that was rubberized, and now it's been 15 years, and now it's weird and sticky. And
So I thankfully I got up because I had my cliff jumper, my siege cliff jumper, or maybe that was Earthrise or something. That was Earthrise because he has a regular car mode, and there wasn't a cliff jumper in the other one. I have him posed with Jetfire's like dual cannons that he has that can come off his hand, and I had effect parts in that for like a year. They popped out fine though, but they've always been kind of like dry effect parts. some of the other effect parts do have a gumminess to them. And I guess the flames that came with Skylinks were also that like more harder plastic. But I do know for
yeah,
a
yeah.
fact that some of the beams have like a more like rubbery feel to it. I wonder if like maybe Bandai has it perfected then, because like I've never seen something like that happen with Gundam.
The only time I've ever experienced something like that firsthand is when I got the Shinchoku Seiho SH Figure Arts Kamen Rider Wizard. I went and got the old effect set for the original Figure Arts Wizard off of eBay, and the guy who sent it to me, he said he had never opened it, and it seemed sealed when I got it, but just everything in there that was like what we would think of as a traditional effects piece, like every bit of flame or water that was in there, that had like this almost jelly-like texture to it. It was still rigid, but like the outside of it felt like when you get a bit of jelly on your hand while you're making toast or something like that. So I had to wash those pretty hard.
Yeah. I was gonna say I heard not firsthand, obviously I haven't messed with them too much myself, but my understanding is the initial run, like year or so of real grade Gundam kits had some prefabricated joints in the internal skeleton that used some more rubbery plastic, and apparently those don't like melt, but apparently those things rapidly lose tension as the years go by.
The Zagok, I think, is one of the ones that suffered from that. I wanted that one so bad. That is completely true. I guess I didn't associate that with like that kind of problem, but that is what happens. The Zagok's arms are like segmented, so it's like 9 ball joints, and he eventually turns into like I guess like a Lala Loopsy doll or something like that, with just like wibbly wobbly. But I had some beef with a 00 real grade kit. That was one of the like I've never hated building anything model kit related or Lego or anything. But then I got to like put like the world's tiniest piece that was like the yellow interior color for like the head vent. And I lost it like literally 5 times in my room, because like every time you had to use tweezers to like lower it in, but then you had to like put a little bit of pressure behind it to get it to snap, and it would either go in once and never come out again, or it would just like magically teleport out of its like little spot. It would just like teleport, and you'd have to sit there and wait to hear it hit something. Because I had such a condensed space of like nonsense, I'm just like in a cubicle surrounded by like all of my action figures. It was a very not fun game of where the fuck did this thing go? Let me find it for an hour and try it again. And I went through that like 3 times or 4 times.
It is worth noting, I should say, like this plasticizer issue, like it's not universal, and there have been eras where just this stuff does, balance a little bit better. There's times where there are freak occurrences where it doesn't. It is just a very chemical science in the realm of what most for years would assume to have been like, this is the realm of just plastic toys, and it's like rubbery stuff does have like a sort of chemical nature to it that, especially as once you start hitting decades passing by, like just sometimes it's fine, sometimes it gets affected by humidities or drynesses, sometimes it just starts sweating its plasticizer out, and it can be quite variable. But there have been eras where also it felt like the code was cracked a little bit more solidly, and then maybe some stuff in the industry side got shifted around, and that could have affected other things, coming down to even plasticizer balances.
It feels a lot like how you kind of have to course correct for the weather, right? Like you can't really track this stuff too far out, and sometimes you don't even know until it's right on top of you, so you have to just be ready to go like, okay, I bought this thing, it's doing this, I guess that's just how it is, and now I've got to do this for it if I want to keep it around.
I mean, there's a lot of like just thinking about just hobbies and general things, like thinking back to like disc rot. That's just adhesives falling apart. Like how many books fall apart because the glue got fucked up, right?
It's an aspect of the toy collecting hobby especially that I think is hard to process, because it's taken until now for us to really hit the point where it is more of an inevitability, which is, like the sort of the word I use is entropy, right? Which is sort of harsh, but the natural entropy of things that is crisscrossing with toy collecting, which often is portrayed and engaged with as the collection of permanent objects. And then when you're faced with their individual impermanences, like it can be kind of weird to process. Like I have trouble with it sometimes. It's why I tend to avoid certain types of collectibles, like Hot Toys, for instance. Anything that does like, oh, we're doing a synthetic skin over the joints because it looks really cool, and I'm like, I just can't, I don't want to personally deal with like whatever the 10-year ramifications of that is.
Yeah.
But I totally get it. Like I get the draw. It's just like that's something for me that I'm more reticent to lay hands on.
Yeah, like I know a lot of people won't even buy figures that have clear plastic in them because they have this hang up about like, and calling it a hang up is a bit harsh, but like I don't have another word right
Minor
now.
trauma.
They just have a thing of like, yeah, they just have a thing of like, I don't want to outlive this object. And it's like on one level I get that, but on another I always kind of want to go back to, well, yeah, but it's a toy. Aren't we supposed to be here for a good time and not a long time?
Sometimes.
Yeah, it's a complex conversation to have because like I totally get it in some cases, and in other cases I try like I can often connect with it on some level with enough empathy, and it's rough. Like I've talked to some friends who have a lot of trouble with that natural entropy, even when it comes down to the loosening of joints over time, and it's like yeah, it's kind of brutal. And the main thing I would say is, especially with things like clear plastic and even plasticizer parts, it's like just try to remember that like it's not a 100% science in the negative either, and there's a chance you just won't know until you're 5 or 10 years down the line. And how long term does one want to think about these objects? Like it's sort of a part of the whole being liquid thing I think about, which is not going to immediately work for everybody either. But I think with the state of industry we are in 2025, identifying your comfort level with that stuff and identifying who makes stuff and what that jives best with your comfort level is the best way to approach things. And just like knowing yourself the best. But yeah, like I think it will also behoove people to be able to and this sounds like, because of the way the word gets used, this probably sounds mean. I don't mean it to be mean, but like learning to cope with the finite nature of some things and what you want to get out of them is probably in the long run a valuable exercise to go through, as long as you can stay comfortable to some degree with it. Mm-hmm. All you got to do is make a YouTube channel called Unus Annus.
Oh my god.
There has to have been some porn video named Unus Annus, right? In reference to that, there has to have been at least one.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
I mean,
That sounds like
if
you
we were able to
started
get
it,
like
sir.
every variation,
I can neither confirm nor deny.
We're putting out allegations on the podcast now. All right.
What is life but a simple allegation that you must live? I mean, there's only
universe saying somebody has to.
There's only one true philosophical question to ask, and that's suicide.
Jesus.
I thought you were gonna say is did they make porn of it? I was gonna say like, nah, I hear you.
No, I went the serious direction. No, it's fundamental question is if you have to ask if is life worth living. If the answer is yes, fucking why? You gotta actually acknowledge that life is value, and if there is more purpose to keep living than to kill yourself, all right, now what?
I don't know. I like plastic toys, and I like getting to talk to people about them. That's pretty cool.
I like experiencing, and I was like thinking about things like when someone first wrote a version of the Bible, did someone else write porno of it like within like a month? Like when did porno parody first erupt into existence? That's my question.
I feel like there was mass market pornography as far back as like the early 1800s, but I could be wrong. And by mass market, I just mean sold.
Were they basing it on known publications though? That's what I want to know.
Like
did someone read a holy book and go like, damn, but what if?
I mean, I do know.
But what if Jesus and Judas, man? What if? Where's my slash pick?
Exactly.
There's probably some like penny.
I mean, maybe
dreadfuls.
as long as people have fantasized about people in media. I know for a long time before, like, I was seeing like the routine like memes of like the SpongeBob one and like the other one. I would always see some raunchy ass Star Wars
Yep.
art of like the Twi'leks, like forever and ever. That's not that. I mean, that's only as far back as the '70s, but still, like a lot of '70s
I
stuff is
mean,
wild.
Tijuana Bibles, my friend.
Yeah.
People were doing Kirk X Spock while that show was on the air, is my
Yep.
understanding.
Kirk X Spock is like the birth of what we understand as modern fandom. It's insane.
And I think they also
Yeah.
did like MPREG at that time too.
Yeah. And that was all just a bunch of horny, lonely housewives too. People
It
forget.
always
like,
is.
they've been here for longer than most of us have, and we owe a lot of this.
You know what?
to
I
them.
do think there
So,
was like
fucking
an
respect.
actual genuine essay on shipping discourse between Sherlock and Watson.
I'm in 07 salute position for this entire conversation.
That's the other thing too, is like since your last episode on this podcast, you've started doing those news dive streams, and that's been so fascinating. It's given me so much perspective on just the cyclical nature of fandom in general, but especially online fandom and the way we discuss things, and how it's all always been the same, but it was just a little more crude back then. It was a little less streamlined.
There was a few more yaoi paddles.
Yeah, there was glomping.
Oh,
and
this
everything.
was I think this Yowie, this would have been Yowie paddle era. Yeah, it was the 2000s. Yeah, the news dives have been very fun. I think I still will always maintain my favorite part of the news dives is the fact that in the wider viewing audience who are participating and sharing and chatting, it is like quad generational. And I think that's a beautiful thing that like we picked a moment to go back to, an era to go back to, but we've got people from the 90s fandom, the 2000s fandom, the 2010s fandom, and the 2020s fandoms, as in like that was when they onboarded into taking part, and they're all getting together and we're all looking at this thing that either some of us lived through and some of us only heard about, or some of us did not know about whatsoever. And it's a really fun journey of discovery, I think, that also represents my favorite part of Transformers fandom, which is that we don't have fandom hierarchy per se. We don't have like elders, we don't have people you're supposed to listen to. And it means that we are just all looking at this thing and all sharing our perspectives on it. And how either it is a series of memories and reconnected neurons, or in some cases it is literally like, what do you mean Entertainment Earth existed in the year 2003? Like, I ordered something from them today. What do you mean they've been around that long? Or like, CD Japan was around at the turn of the century? And it's like, yeah, dog.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
like telling
it's,
a modern anime fan that Crunchyroll started as a pirate site.
Yeah. Oh, there have been things like that in the news dive too, where like there was a period where we were getting posts like leak the version of what leak pictures are now back then, and like one of the folks involved, like I think went on to become the designer of the Beast Box line. There's really cool stuff floating around in there that explains some of the sort of set ways that there's some of the set fandom discourses that exist when, for instance, like we've had people on the viewing the streams who said, oh yeah, I'm like 19, like I'm younger than I was born after the news items you're looking at. And it's like some of them are then also seeing like, wow, I just grew up into a fandom that said X, Y, and Z, and I just saw where Y came from. And
Yeah,
in
that's largely been the experience for me, because I was born in 97 and I got into Transformers with the Unicron trilogy, but I didn't start like looking at the fandom until like the time of Revenge of the Fallen. Like that's when I discovered YouTube toy reviews, and that eventually led me to the larger Transformers fandom. So getting to look back and see all of it now, after I've like become so ingrained in not necessarily the discourse, but just like I've managed to keep myself abreast of the goings on for so long, so consistently. I'm like, oh, these patterns I thought I watched emerge over time have always been, and it's neat to see how deep they go. And it's also just fun to run across like internet relics of how naive we used to be, like the whole gig board thing. That tangent was amazing.
Yeah, yeah. For context, we found the website of the one of the musicians from the band NRG, and it was his website that was still available to look at, and it hadn't been updated since like 2003. And they had a gig board where at the turn of the century, there were people just posting. They were self-doxing, looking for music work on this internet like bulletin board, and a good chunk of them were minors self-doxing. Some of them, like, I'm a girl who is willing to do anything to join a band. Here's my name and my address and where I tend to hang out and at what hours.
Oh Lord Almighty!
Yeah, it was adorable only because I was like, well, I'm assuming since this is 21 years ago, it's okay to point to this and say how adorable because everyone on here has aged ideally 21 years.
And nothing
hopefully.
happened to them when they did that.
Little
Yeah,
do
I
you know,
should say,
that
like,
strip
I
is
say
now gonna be
ideally.
featured on an episode of Forensic Files.
I say ideally because if they have not aged 21 years, it meant that they stopped aging at some point due to death, which would be a shame. But
What would be really fucked up is it kept aging after death.
yeah, they also just kept walking around like, nah.
Thankfully, most music scenes are very safe, and nothing bad ever happens in them. Especially to people who are interested in becoming musicians and wanting to get closer to current musicians.
Yeah, you know, I think the only thing that really parallels music for how safe and above board everything is the professional wrestling industry. That's they call it the professional wrestling industry for a reason because they keep everything very professional.
If people aren't aware, they are speaking in sarcasm.
They're professionals. They know what they're doing.
We are currently in a hole.
I'm sorry, what? Speaking of, I never.
A sarcasm.
Oh, is that like a meme?
Yeah, it's a first-person shooter game from the 90s, Chasm.
Oh, I played Chasm. I didn't know there was like a mod for it. That's okay.
Lord Almighty.
He can't help you now.
He never did.
It just happens. It just happens. But yeah, dude. By the way, if anyone who heard that has not seen one of the news dives, do check them out. They're a fun journey.
Yeah,
I try to keep it very wholesome. Yeah, I'm very set on keeping them very wholesome and positive because, like, I think it is super easy to go like, we're all old, and so I like to just thrust people into it so we can just have fun with it.
Yeah.
That's why I love bringing up things like,
worst thing that's happened in those is just the Ronald Reagan jump scare.
Was it worse though, or was it best?
It's a bit of both.
Ronald Reagan's always
we were going through. There was a period where TFW had gone down, so we popped over to the Sabertron front page archives for that block of time, and then it took less than a page for us to find not only the death of Ronald Reagan, but a Transformers news site attempting to report on the death of Ronald Reagan.
I mean,
citing
he is important to the history of Transformers, technically.
As people in the chat pointed out, they were like, well, this is relevant. But there was like, what was it? There was like a Google link to like they had linked a word to the Google search for the definition of like Alzheimer's disease. In case you don't know what that is.
Just in case you forgot.
Because that and this was all back in like, the year 2003, right? So this is just well-meaning but maybe slightly confused and stressed, 20-somethings in college running a Transformers fan site going like, well, we got to report on the death of Ronald Reagan. So I don't know. Someone might not know what Alzheimer's is. We'll add a link to the Google search for that, and for the news sources, we'll just cite CNN and the Drudge Report as where we who brought the news to us about this. It's very funny. And also the 200 by 200 pixel picture of Ronald Reagan as the news story's thumbnail was adorable.
The risks you run going back and looking at that stuff.
Yeah, we're up to 2006 now. So we're one session deep into that.
I actually listened to that first session just today while door dashing because I was like, oh shit, I'm a couple streams behind. I need to make sure I'm up on my Vangelus content before I talk to Vangelus. I gotta do the required.
You gotta do the required parasocial.
Yeah.
Gotta see if something happened in January of 06.
Funnily enough, though, I think if I remember correctly, because I listened to a bunch of other stuff today, didn't you find an old post you had made below a news story during that?
Yep, because we're now into the part where we're starting to actually find archived posts as well on TFW, and so we found a thing of me posting in 2006 with my very like XD style posting habits I had, because I was like 24 at the time. No, 22 at the time. 22 at the time, honestly.
We all went through that stage when we were first on the internet where we had a super curated idea of what posting was supposed to be. I remember I had like a notepad file just filled with like, standard tweets I should be making throughout the day.
I had the talk on streams a couple times too, where I was like, listen, now that we're getting into the part where we might come across 2006 era me and Aaron posting in some of these threads, I just want to lay the blanket statement. Like, number one, I'm going to go, I'll just jump neck deep into it. I'm not going to try to hide anything about the I don't even use the word that often, but I will just say the cringy way I might have been posting back then. And number two, 06 era me probably said some vile shit somewhere or another. So I'll just say right now, I'm not going to double down on any of it. Let stupid baby me be stupid. Like, I apologize in advance if he says something really stupid. I just don't remember, but I'm not going to go like, hey, listen, it was a different time. It's like, nah, I was just like, I was less life experienced and more ignorant. So hopefully we don't come across anything vile. I don't think I said anything super vile on TFW, but it's a risk now.
A risk you're willing to take.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, listen,
archival.
I'm down to bully 22-year-old Vangelus from this many years in the future or whatever. Screw him.
I mean, if anyone deserves it, he does.
I have subsumed his entire body into my own biology at this point. So like whatever, I've already bullied him as hard as possible in the biological. So whatever. What's he gonna do about it?
Keep you up at night by embarrassment.
Nah, I've digested him into my own self.
Damn, existential
I did try to go
war?
like, I said so. Yeah, exactly. I said something embarrassing in the year 2006. It's like, that's pretty cool, dude. You're a subsumed part of my entire physiobiology and existential self. So I guess sucks to be you, buddy, because I get to go see like Predator Badlands whenever I want.
I only ever just think back to little baby me, and I'm like, man, if I could show you the picture of the shit you will own, you're gonna freak out. Just don't look at the person taking the picture, but you're gonna love the stuff you own. Where's your hair?
Also, if you want to read my existential vor, it's up on AO3. It's very well written.
It always takes me half a second when someone says AO, and then I'm going like, what? Because C and 3 rhyme. And I'm going like, are you talking about Ocasio-Cortez?
I sent a lot of it to her, okay, but she didn't reply to me.
She's like, you're not one of my constituents.
Well, no, what she actually said, to my understanding, is, why are you sending me this vor? But,
here's the fucked
I
up
to explain
thing.
myself, and they
AOC probably does know what vor is.
Yeah,
that's right.
We're getting to that point.
Mom Donnie definitely knows what vor is.
Now, Mom Donnie knows what a brain rot is.
Mom Donnie has seen Sonic inflation art.
God, stop putting those things out there. Stop saying that. We could reach a point to where no one has seen it again. Like people can die, and it can be forgotten.
But the texts, the Library of Alexandria.
Some things must be purged.
Jesus Christ, Cody.
Jesus isn't in this conversation.
No, he left a while ago. He went to bed.
I asked about him earlier, but nobody knows if anyone ever wrote, like Bible offshoot parody porn. I'll ask somebody. I know priests.
There's at least a couple extra
Maybe
holes when
Montgomery
Jesus
knows.
is involved. Don't disappointingly hum at me, Cody.
I will hum wherever I wish.
I'll actually restate something from early in the episode. I personally do not want nails driven into my body. I'm just putting it out there. Like I'm not down with it.
True. But I am now thinking, the new post from Chicago. Has anybody bothered to ask him if Jesus likes deep dish yet?
Damn.
Oh yeah.
That's an important thing.
I'll add that to the list. I want to know if he inherited the papal copy of Undertale.
So does the Vatican just have one Steam account, and it's just that's the only game?
Yeah.
They don't even have
do you lose
Bible
access to your
adventures?
Do you lose access to your Fortnite skins if you cease being the Pope?
There's got to be some funny religious way to word that, right? Like, you must forgo all digital possessions. I don't know. Would there be some weird?
No.
Calling them
Now-
skins might just be a general turn off.
Now I'm just thinking about the hypothetical situation of a Catholic clergy action figure line Kickstarter.
I feel
Hasn't
like there
there
was at
been
least
Jesus
a Jesus
ones?
Kickstarter.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
a Jesus
Well,
Transformer in there.
Bible themed. There were a couple different Bible themed ones, but I'm thinking like ones that would be like actual popes and cardinals and saints from history, and like the likeness rights
okay.
involved in
Well,
that.
we all know what the chase is going to be. It's going to be St. Nicholas.
Mhm. Well, he's the Kickstarter exclusive.
Because there was Biblical Adventures. That's the one I was thinking of.
It's like some of those don't look bad, but the soft goods are just horrendous, man.
It's all puffy and stuff. Yeah.
The
I
only
mean, let's
figure
be
that
honest,
will
though.
those
If that
die
was like a full-size piece of
will come
cloth,
back.
that would be comfy as fuck. Just nice, big, pillowy.
True. Very
Yeah.
downy.
Because it's basically a
I
Snuggie.
think. Are you saying Jesus wore a Snuggie boy?
Are you saying Jesus wouldn't have worn a Snuggie?
I mean, it's entirely possible. He was a man of the people.
Jesus would have been wearing a Snuggie, drinking a beer, watching Stone Cold Steve Austin, Cold Stone Stunner, Vince McMahon going, "Hell yeah, brother!"
I forgot that this campaign had an exclusive clear blue variant Jesus, translucent blue transfiguration Jesus Christ.
Oh my God,
Um,
Force Ghost Jesus.
That's kind of neat. At least they
Yeah.
got silly with it. Oh, there is a devil. Nice. I wouldn't think they would do that.
This
I'm gonna
Oh, they had
have,
a
to,
Gotta have a
I'm
bad
gonna
St.
have to
Michael.
make a request that Boingo, when you're editing this episode, isolate the clip of Cody saying, "Oh, there is a devil." Nice.
Oh, yo, they called their waves books. So it was like book 1 and book 2.
Oh, that's cute.
Do we get a King James wave? I hope not.
Taking a look.
it's in a book. It's reading Rainbow.
They got young Moses.
Oh man. Then you have time skip Moses.
Yes.
Young Moses would be a pretty good SoundCloud rapper name.
I was gonna say that
If not, I mean, it
Call
sounds
me
like it
young
already is.
Moses.
because I'll be bringing the flow.
Oh, okay. It took till book 4. They have Jesus space crucifixion, and he has hand swaps with holes in them.
Yeah.
Did they make a
So you can go
crucifix
pre or post.
playset?
It kind of.
Does that mean my Iron Man figures with like the little holes in them for the blast effects are compatible?
I'm not sure what the size the holes were, but they also include various different skin tones because all the Jesus variants are like, different portrayals. So they provide you with all the different skin tones so you can crucify any of your Jesus Christ action figures, not just the one included.
From an action figure standpoint, that is a good selection of things, though creepy and
There's something about this that just has the vague air of a Simpsons bit to it.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
This
a
is
very
a bit from Dogma.
very specific energy, but I see what you mean.
No, I'm legit. This feels like there's a lost episode where Ned Flanders gets really into 6-inch action figures for a week.
Yeah, that
Oh, this
definitely
is so
does
cute.
feel.
No. I can see what it
Correct, I
is.
agree
Homer
with you.
Homer Simpson reconnects with his childhood and collect G.I. Joe figures. Ned Flanders wants to do something similar, and he gets these guys.
There's a completely illogical photograph showing a size comparison with a bunch of other action figures. It's just something about it is very funny that it's just like Jesus Christ in the company of Spider-Man and Conan the Barbarian and a 3/4 inch G.I. Joe.
He is with all of us,
And the
regardless of size.
And a Lego minifig.
What's that little fucking
the Lego, the
and
brown
barbecue.
space.
goblin from?
That's
That's
a
a Plunderling.
plunderling.
Yeah,
I
it's a
showed you those
plunderling. I
while
got that
ago.
one.
You're saying plunderling as if I know what the fuck that is.
Plunderling is a
a
toy line of
plunderling.
funny little goblin
Okay.
guys. Let me
So it's just like an independent thing.
It's the small version of the Plunder Long that came out later.
Wouldn't a big version of a plunderling be a
Plunderlongs are the
plund?
tall ones.
Nope, they got the plunder longs and they got the plunder strongs, which are just
Yeah,
buff
plund
ones.
would be medium.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
A full-size dumpling would be a
from
dump.
the right in this photo, you have a plunderling, a plunder long, and a plunder strong.
The fuck it. That just sounds like it's a goddamn fucking strong bad joke.
I like how much the energy of this is like, no, but I swore you were making all this up. Why do you have photos of them?
I mean, that's a lot of independent toy lines these days, isn't it?
Oh, have you heard of Oop
Plunderlings are neat. I think
Oh
that,
man, you gotta collect some Oop Goops.
One of my favorite things to collect
Yeah, you
is
can-
Go-Go's Crazy Bones. So I mean, whatever.
I mean,
You can only get oop de goops if you have an account on Splabble. That's the only place they're selling them on.
we're literally at the tail end of a fad for a toy called the Labubu right now, so it's all relative.
Friend of mine got a Labubu recently. It's on their bag. It's a real one. I was like,
Mm.
damn, I haven't seen one of these in person. They're
Did they
bigger
get it?
than I thought.
They
They're
seem like
proper.
about the size of like a Beanie Baby from everything I've seen.
The there's some tiny beanies out there.
You just have to correct me on the sizes of Beanie Babies.
I'm sorry. I
Cody is
fucked with
nothing
Beanie
on this
Babies.
podcast, and not the man who takes a second to say, "Hey, fuck you, Chris."
That's our life.
The piercing shop in downtown Gainesville was selling them for like $70 a pop, and I remember like walking up to the box and I was like, well, this is enough for me. Goodbye.
Yeah, I don't know.
Also worth noting, the Plunderlings have a magnet in their head for their hats, if I recall correctly.
Oh, that's
That is
baller.
horrible.
I would like to wait until just the right point when the fad for Labubus die out, so I can get one for really cheap, and then do the BBL surgery just so I can say I have a Labubu with a BBL.
You could. I mean, I'd imagine it probably there's a small chance it devalues it. There might be a better chance that it increases the value, but you might just be able to find one second market, or
That's
just
true.
buy a fucked up one that is already like that.
Just fucking bite the bullet, buy a Labubu. Be one of those people.
Become a Labubu.
Or get a knockoff, get a Lafufu.
It's true. There might be some at the toy show that I'm going to in 2 weeks.
Little buddy
It's
Fufu
entirely
hopping through the
possible.
forest, picking up the field mice and popping them on the head.
He's got,
Oh, did y'all talk about Funko dying yet?
Oh
Did we talk about
no!
that?
We completely fucking. I
mean, we
forgot
are
about
writing
Well,
that.
that news became nebulous, right? Because it was discovered that Dexerto like generated that article in ChatGPT, but
Oh,
then the
was it?
Funko CEO said, "Yeah, but well, the thing is, so here's the last I heard is that Dexerto generated that article because I don't know, they are run by a lump, and then the Funko CEO said, no, everything's fine." But then there was like an SEC filing about their finances that said like, maybe everything isn't fine. It seems likely right now that like maybe they will just like scale back and only do Funko Pops and not all the whatever billion other things they off and on do. It doesn't sound like they are like on the verge of death necessarily, but they are definitely not like, oh, we can just launch like an NFT project now, or we're gonna do like we're gonna reopen our board games company that we shuttered or something.
It's that weird thing of like,
So-
I saw a few people freaking out about it, but my reaction was just like, okay, but actual like toy people have been saying for years that Funko is digging themselves into a grave, so this doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, I mean, like I kind of alluded to, like the whole industry is suffering right now. Every hobby industry is suffering right now. So like, if it turns out there was a major casualty like that, it would be like, well, yeah, that sucks for folks who are working there. on a sort of armchair level, yeah, it's not super shocking given that like everything's in flux right now. But I would have been surprised if Funko went before one or two other companies, given how much of a nest egg I have to assume they have. But it sounds right now like it's more about scaling back than imploding.
Yeah. Well, as a big industry head, who do you think would be the first to go right now?
I think it would be more, unfortunately, much like the board game industry, it'd be more about the independents getting shuttered because they don't have a nest egg and they're not small enough to just produce stuff at home. Like really, it is actually more about like I think a lot more board game companies would shutter before Funko would. If I were to extend the umbrella out to those as part of toys and games. But in the toy world, I don't know. I always feel like it would be smaller companies. It'd be like Super 7 would fully shutter, I think, before Funko, because what I understand is they ate a bankruptcy size bullet on those last Ninja Turtles toys because those showed up when tariffs were at a high and they just paid them. Because what else were they going to do? And so they are probably like closer to collapse. And it probably would be a lot of the mid-level Kickstarter oriented toy companies, like your D13s or the folks who do those gladiators I see sometimes. But I also don't know if they require margins to exist still the way Funko would. So yeah, I don't really know
The Gladiators.
anyone
are you
outside of
talking
those
about
realms.
Zestray?
About which?
Zestray Studio?
Possibly. I don't remember their name. I've just seen them on
I'll
I've
look
seen
up
them
a
on feeds
picture real
before.
quick. But I was just gonna say I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
actually talked to the guy who runs that on Instagram a couple times because there's a figure they're putting out later this year that I'm really interested in. And he's talked repeatedly about like the start and stop nature of their production because of not only working around political stuff, but just like working around his own personal finances and availability times. Because as I understand it, it is primarily just like him talking to a factory and one or two other people who are helping him out with minor things here and there.
That makes sense. These are the ones I saw. Yeah. This is what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I got into Blockies at the best worst time. So it's, I mean, thankfully, Blockies is one of the companies where they don't need us. So whenever those floodgates open again, I will be here buying them however I can. It does drive. It burns the underside of my skin to not be able to get access to the car things they're doing right now. Because oh my god.
Yeah, I was gonna say those look very micro adjacent. The Blocky's vehicle stuff.
I just really
Yeah,
just
I got
want
a
the
lot of
Marvel
stuff
stuff
like
because I'm a
that.
big Marvel guy, and it's like fuck, those are some tasty things.
Yeah, the Doc Ock has really good posable arms, octopus arms.
Tentacles.
My brain.
And see, I've been getting really into fantasy fiction in like the last year or so. So the fact that Zesray is moving into more overt fantasy stuff, like this is a figure I'm really excited for that's supposed to be out in the next couple months because this just looks like your average NPC barbarian in Skyrim.
Are they doing? Is that the company who's doing a Conan as well?
No, that
Or am I
would
thinking of someone else?
be oh god.
Or is that Boss Fight?
Boss Fight is doing a Conan. There's a couple different people doing a Conan
Okay.
right now. Frazetta's granddaughters have a company and they're making figures based directly off of his art, and they just put out their first Conan earlier this year. But there's the same designer that worked on that Conan is making one specifically for the people who currently have the rights to Conan based off of the current comp. So there's like 3 distinct Conan figures coming out in like the next year's worth of months. Because I think that one, which I think is just called, because the company that owns the Conan rights right now is Heroic Signatures. So I think that's literally just called the Heroic Signatures Conan. There's that one. There's the Frazetta Girls Conan, and then there's the Epic Hacks Conan. So I'm gonna get images for these real quick. So this is heroic signatures.
That explains why I got a little bit confused when I was seeing photos of Conan figures being solicited, because I was like, I didn't know that many people had access to the license. I was like, why do these always look slightly different?
Oh,
That
they're
explains
making
it.
a really big
That
push
makes a lot
for
more
it.
sense.
They're making a really big push for it right now because the comic is actually on a real high in terms of general popularity at the moment.
Fun fact:
That makes sense.
if you go to Reddit
Rosetta
to
Girls
find,
one.
if you go to Reddit to find Blocky's photos, you'll soon find out that the UK uses bloke a lot to describe penises.
Oh.
Just
And then
Yep.
just to round it off, that's the boss fight Conan. So those are the three major Conans we have right now. If you don't want to backtrack and get one of the Mezco ones.
Once they
Yeah, also for those who don't know, at TF Nation last year, a Blockies representative, when asked, is it Blockies or Blokies, said yes.
That's a good egg right there.
I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but it was mostly like, he said, oh, either way works. And it's like, well, but those are different. But okay, never mind. Fine. It's Blockies and Blokies.
say
Fine.
both at the same time, and you're good. Just dub yourself over.
Blokies.
But Blaukus. The joke I was about to make was no matter what, Conan always has his bangs just right. It's like Zoe Deschanel.
True.
Man's
That's
got a
the
brand.
blessing of Crom, is that you're, no matter what happens, you gotta, it all stays
Your
in order.
bangs are on point.
Yeah, the Howard actually got it wrong. Conan gives a man two things at birth: the will to crush his enemies and fabulous bangs.
Yeah. See, the Frazetta bangs are the ones where I'm like, he has to be doing that himself. Like those are so clean.
It looks a little like almost like a Lego hairpiece. Now that I'm looking at
What
it.
if
in
Conan the
comparison to
Barbarian is actually bald and he wears a wig all the time?
That's what you would do
So that
with
line-
him
that-
if you wanted to write like a the Boys-esque takedown of Conan.
Well, I mean, there's Terry Pratchett did an interesting satire of Conan, where it's basically, okay, you're an unbeatable barbarian warrior. What happens when you stay unbeatable, but you turn into an old geriatric man?
I mean, the King Conan story is literally.
Oh, no. Like a crotchety, old, skinny, fucked up little man.
Who is also still good at killing
Yeah.
folks, if necessary. He can still buzzsaw it.
What is this Blokies thing you put in the chat, Cody?
it's a
That's Beast
Beast
Wars
Wars
Megatron.
Megatron.
Amazing. I love him.
I really do.
Extremely wide hips.
I mean, hey,
I love Blocky so much.
Megatron has
I'm
birth
just
and
gonna be
hips.
patiently waiting for them.
What can you say?
You gotta have that there for the MPREG art.
MPREG, but the M stands for Megatron.
Megatron Preg.
I am Mega Preg.
Pregatron. Oh, I
It
like
does
that one.
sound like
I contain a
character
small
Zakara
black
would
hole
come
that
up with
powers
in
my cannon.
Plays.
Doesn't the Skywarp thing technically count as that, though? Or am I misremembering Skywarp having a baby in his cockpit?
Now I can't remember. There is an instance of Scorponok was canonically MPREG at the end of IDW.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that shit.
Let me just look up Skywarp pregnant.
You're gonna go on one website, buddy.
That should work.
That's definitely a thing you want to do with your internet machine right there.
I mean, it's your search history.
I really don't want to click on the pictures, but I know I have a picture saved.
You don't
Maybe
have
it's
to
just-
do anything.
Skywarp with baby, and that's not no better way to look it up, I guess.
I mean, it's probably over.
Oh, this is dangerous. I might as well stop.
Oh, oh, okay.
I'm trying. Maybe I could. I might have the picture saved in my Google Photos, which sounds like worse than anything, honestly. But
You're saving it.
You want to go?
I don't let this photograph. I don't let this photograph of pregnant Skywarp get very far from me. It's extremely important. I keep it close at hand.
Look at this photograph. Every time
You
I do it,
have
it makes
to-
me laugh.
you have to hold on to the things that matter.
But you're nowhere near me. I can't hold on to you.
I'm kind of near you.
Didn't you say you were in Valdosta?
I'm moving there. I don't live there yet. I'm still in Gainesville. Well, I had the picture saved because I used it as a reaction image for the longest time, and
Of course you did.
it was funny to me.
It's okay. You can say you don't have to say the real reason you kept it.
It was to me.
To me, my Skywarp MPREG.
Can I search Skywarp? Are you smart enough, Google? It is.
Whoa!
Are you smart enough to Google Skywarp and Preg? Tell us in the comments.
I mean, like searching my own photos by word, and I can't find. I could find other Transformers, but I cannot find that one. It's unfortunate. I'll never know what that is.
I would argue it's actually very fortunate.
Oh, listen, you know what? You've inspired me, actually.
Oh no!
I'm sure if I search comics, I could find it, because it was a comic that did me no better. How unfortunate.
Well, you know what is fortunate?
This?
Wrapping up the... Oh, what the fuck? No. Get away. No, I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Nah. And then you could do what you were
What if there
gonna
were
do,
two eyes inside your shockwave?
and they're both looking at each other.
Inside of you, there are two shock waves.
The clap from your ass.
Listen to me. If any of you let this get back to the Hasbro Transformers team and it somehow affects a future figure, there's gonna be major problems. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, let me just fucking call Hasbro because I can fucking do that, I guess.
Hey, their Instagram DMs are open.
What, you just want me to...
And
They
so
are,
am
but I think they also have the wherewithal to not react too much. If someone's like, listen, I really got these like ideas revolving around MPREG robots that I think would fit in with the future plans of the
I mean,
franchise.
look.
Guys,
Soundwave...
new gimmick line. You get a robot and a robot.
It's just Power Masters, so I mean, I don't know.
True.
Well, this
That's
is
actually how I'd
gonna
sell it. I'd feel like, listen, it's whatever I'm about to say. I just want you to know it's just Power Masters. So settle down. Anyway, pregnant robots. It's gonna move numbers. Aesthetically strong. You did it in IDW already with Scorponok. Precedent exists.
Maybe the image is just an image of Scorponok. Maybe I've misremembered something. Let me look that up.
This man is
Scorponok
desperately
pregnant.
searching for MPREG robots.
I just want to know. I just want to know where that
You just
picture
want to
is,
know
'cause it's
how
like,
robot gives birth. That's what you want to know.
it was a picture of Skywarp, and there was a baby in the cockpit, but it was an IDW comic panel. And it was Skywarp, and I was wrong the entire time. It was Scorponok. It was Scorponok. The whole time.
The whole time.
The whole time. The entire time. That's the exact thing that I had saved. I guess
I
it's
feel
kind of
helpful.
purple. Thank you. You've
Yeah, it
delivered
was a
me.
great idea to have Vangelus back on the podcast. I'm so glad I asked him.
That's not the correct MPREG Transformer. It was Scorponok.
Your fandom elder knowledge really came in handy this time. We super appreciate it.
Tapping my
firstborn.
forehead like you can't get one past me.
Beautiful. Energetic, even.
Sweet.
All right, well that's a podcast, everyone. Call it
Yeah.
there. We're like an hour past Vangelus's cutoff point anyway. I feel like I let this get way too out of hand. So
Sorry, this was important.
We need to find out which robots have been MPREG'd.
Vangelus, is there anything you would like to promote to like the two people listening to this who have never heard of you before?
Yeah, you should look up Vangelus on YouTube because that's where I posted videos. Also, look up Andy Roo's Gaming Gang on Extra Life. I'm always participating in that. In my case, I'm raising funds for Sick Kids, which is a Canadian children's hospital. What else is there? I was just on this. I'm occasionally guesting on streams on youtube.com/@Diaclona, where if you like vibes like this, in which I am correcting people about the correct MPREG Transformers, like that will, that's a relevant vibe to that.
Fantastic.
And also WTF and TFW. It's a Transformers podcast that we do now and then. And I'm the primary speaking host on that one. We don't talk about pregnant Transformers that much on WTF and TFW, but that's because we've just been around for a while. It's old hat for us. We've run through those topics.
Right on.
Fair enough.
Cody, where can people find you on the internet?
Never_robot on Instagram, where I forget to post sometimes now. Snowcone83 at Blue Sky on Blue Sky, and Snowcone83 on most gaming platforms. Want to just send me a message. Try to play a game with me. I play Crossout and Warframe and Power Washer Simulator.
Nice. Boingus McRoingus, who are you?
All right, that's my name, I guess. Hi, I'm Boingo. You can find me on a variety of places on the internet. You could probably easily just search Boingo Writer and find me. It's relatively easy.
Right. Buster is not here to promote their stuff because they had to silently dip out earlier. So I'll just say, if you haven't listened to Toku Talkers, well, that show's over, but there's a new one coming. Don't worry. And if you haven't checked out Buster's YouTube channel, you should probably do that. Go look up Buster Corp on YouTube. And while you're at it, hey, maybe look at my link tree. I have social media accounts, and I sometimes post toy photography, though I'm on a break at the moment. So go look at that if you care at all. And don't forget, this is a podcast. If you enjoyed listening to it, you should probably hit like, subscribe, follow it on whatever platform you're on. And I don't know, hype. Are we asking people to hype now? I guess. Yeah, that's it.
Make sure you rate this 5 stars. In fact,
Yes.
consider even rating it 6 stars, or if you're really adventurous, 7 stars.
And add this to your RSS feed, please and thank you. Everyone, thank you for listening. Vangelus, thank you for coming out once again.
Thank you.
And making this episode.
No worries.
all
Thanks
the
for
more
having me.
chaotic. Yeah. We should definitely not take 2 years to do it again. But,
I mean, unless that's the
in
amount of time
meantime,
it takes for you to get over all the bullshit we put you through. So
that's true. That is also a thing we should consider. But until then, good morning, afternoon, evening, or whatever the hell you are living in right now. And bye-bye.